Hi guys, it's me, Chancellor HD, and welcome to today's qualifying watch-along for the 2018 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. How are we all doing today? Are we excited for qualifying? What do we think is going to happen? I can't wait again for qualifying because it does seem at the moment that qualifying for the last couple of races in Spa and Budapest, that qualifying has actually been better than the race. So yeah, I'm looking forward to qualifying today, and hopefully it will be good. But as I said, we are at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. What a track this is. So historic. I think this is, in all the tracks on the calendar, the oldest track on the calendar. I think it was built in the 1920s. Such an old track and such a great track. And there has been rumours that this track could be going off of the calendar in the future, and I hope that it doesn't, because we should never lose a circuit like this. It would be a crime to lose a circuit like this. But guys, practice 3 did take place about a couple hours ago, or ended an hour ago. Let me take you through the results in case you missed what happened. Sebastian Vettel was fastest, from Lewis Hamilton second, Kimi Raikkonen was third, Valtteri Bottas was fourth, Verstappen is fifth, then Magnussen in sixth, Ocon is seventh, Ricciardo eighth, Charles Leclerc in ninth, and Romain Grosjean in P10. So Ricciardo there, not really doing that well at all. A full second off his teammate, that is not good enough at all, but I'm sure in qualifying he will get a lot closer to Max Verstappen. And then the bottom 10 is Perez, Gasly, Sainz, Sirotkin, Stroll, Ericsson, Alonso, Van Dorn, Hulkenberg and Brendan Hartley. Now, from what I've seen there, I think McLaren this weekend have the slowest car, because the two Williams were ahead of them, I think, in practice 2, and they're ahead of them again in practice 3. So for me, that's a sign that McLaren are just not good enough. But guys, is there anything you noticed from practice 3 that you thought is, interesting going into qualifying? What did you guys really think of, the pace of some teams in practice 3? Legendary Snipers says, this is one of my favourite tracks. Yeah, I'd say it is. I think the last few years, the racing hasn't been that great here. But, you can't always get great racing all the time. There's some races, like Spa, that doesn't normally happen at Spa, being a boring race. So we can't just say that when there's a boring race at a certain track, you can't just say that track's awful. We need to, give it a few years. And normally, the Italian Grand Prix is an exciting one. Tonka Toy Truck Haas seem to be really being conservative in practice, qualifying and the race. Well, I've said in my previews and reviews is that all Haas need to do is focus on beating Renault. That's all they have to do. They don't have to focus on beating Force India, because even though Force India are going to score a lot of points between now and the end of the season, they're not going to catch Haas. They're not going to catch Renault. That's way too unrealistic. So all they have to do is beat Renault. And right now, they're doing exactly that. But we'll move on from what happened in practice 3 and go through all the teams and see really how they're doing coming into qualifying. So first off is Mercedes. Now, coming into qualifying, they're not looking awful. They're not looking way off the pace, but they still, for me, are not close enough to get pole position. I think Ferrari have just about enough in hand to beat them. I think Mercedes, if one of their drivers makes a mistake, they might be able to nick a front row start, which I think would be an achievement for them. If Mercedes got pole position, that would be incredible at this Grand Prix. But yeah, I don't think pole position, sadly for them, is possible. I just do not think they have the pace to do so in that car. It's not miles off again. It's only about a 1/10 to 2/10 off the pace of the Ferrari, but that's enough for them not to be on pole position. So, yeah, I don't think they'll be on pole. I think they could get a front row, but most likely it's going to be a all Mercedes second row. Ferrari, I think Ferrari will be the fastest car in qualifying. They really should get pole position. There's no real excuse for them to not get pole position. So I think, yeah, at least with one of their cars, they should get that. Can they get a front row start? I think they can. I'm not sure if Kimi Raikkonen will be able to turn up when it matters in Q3. That's one big thing we need to watch out for. If he does, then I think Ferrari will end up getting a front row start. But if he doesn't, then I think what we're going to have is maybe a Ferrari on pole and Lewis Hamilton in second place with Raikkonen, you know, third or fourth. So in terms of the front row start, it's all down to this person on the screen right here. Kimi Raikkonen, he has to perform if Ferrari are going to get a front row start. And then Red Bull, there's nothing really they can do. They just do not have the pace. With Max Verstappen, they weren't miles off considering the power difference. But when it comes to qualifying, they're going to be nowhere near. And I do not see how Red Bull can get anywhere near even Valtteri Bottas, who's most likely going to be in P4. So for Red Bull, the best they can hope for is 5th and 6th. Maybe if Daniel Ricciardo doesn't have a good qualifying, maybe, you know, a Haas or a Force India can get into P6. That would be an incredible story. But, you know, Daniel Ricciardo is starting at the back anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But, yeah, sad for Red Bull, but that's just the situation that they find themselves in. But guys, what do you think Mercedes can do in qualifying today? Do you think they can take what would be a surprise pole position? Do you think it's Ferrari's to lose in terms of pole position? Do you think they can get a front row start? Where do you think, or who do you think out of the two drivers at Ferrari will be ahead of the other? Do you think Kimi could get pole? Or do you think it's Sebastian's to lose? And for Red Bull, what do you think they're going to do? Do you think it'll be a 5th and 6th? Or do you think somehow a Kevin Magnussen, a Romain Grosjean, or a Esteban Ocon can get ahead of one of the Red Bulls? Most likely at the moment, it looks like Daniel Ricciardo is the Red Bull car under threat. By the way, I do have a bit of a sore throat and a cough, so if you do hear me coughing or, you know, doing this, then sorry, but I have to because my throat is a bit sore at the moment with the amount of commentating I'm doing. But yeah, I'll try my best with that. But let's see what some of you guys are saying about those teams. Mercedes 2-4, that's from Gamer Ben. Tonka Toy Truck, I think all of us would like to see Kimi win a race before he retires. I think, you know, for the rest of the season, he does have a very good chance of doing so. It just needs, what we need is Kimi to get qualifying right, and then in the race, you know, to get the start right, kind of like he did in Austria, even though he didn't gain any positions in the end. If he got the start of the race right like that after having a good qualifying and was leading a race and Vettel was not behind him, you know, directly behind him, then I think he would win a race. But I think I said this at Spa, he needs too many things to go his way to win a race. He needs way too many things to go his way. And in that case, you know, it's going to be hard to see him winning a race if so many things need to go his way. Caleb says, Force India or Haas could beat Red Bull. I don't know. Yesterday I said Force India were best of the rest, but with Magnussen finishing in P6 in practice 3, maybe Haas are best of the rest. I'm not quite sure. I still have a feeling that Force India weren't really pushing that hard in practice 3, but we'll see once we come to qualifying. Tonka Toy Truck says, it seems Daniel is struggling. Any ideas? When it comes to one lap pace, let's be honest, Daniel Ricciardo is not as good as Max Verstappen. When it comes to qualifying, there's no debate there. Max Verstappen is way better when it comes to qualifying than Daniel Ricciardo is. Where Ricciardo, I think, is at the very least equal or even better is the racing. He's very good in the races at, doing overtakes and capitalising on opportunities given to him. Max, not quite the same. But when it comes to qualifying, again, Max Verstappen is the man. Daniel Ricciardo just never really gets close enough, I guess, when it comes to qualifying, except from Monaco, from Game of Ben. Yeah, but that was, Verstappen's crash, which caused that. Force India have been inconsistent from Tonka Toy Truck. I wouldn't say they've been inconsistent. They've had one race as a new team where they've had all these new upgrades. We can't really say they've been inconsistent yet. We need to wait, let's wait till Suzuka or something like that. Daniel is better at Monaco. He is, but then again in 2017, Max was quite a bit faster, I think, in qualifying, even though Ricciardo in the race went on to get a podium. But now we will move on from those top teams and go on to the midfield teams. First off, McLaren. They are going to be the slowest team in qualifying. I have no doubt about this. They look slower than the two Williamses. They look, slower in practice 2 and also in practice 3. They have no straight line speed. They do have upgrades to the front wing, but they're not making a difference. So they're not going to at a track like this where aerodynamics is not really that important. So for McLaren, there's nothing really for this weekend that's going to be successful. They're going to be at the back, and they're probably going to finish at the back in the race. So for McLaren, if you're a McLaren fan, brace yourself for what is going to be a horrible qualifying. It's going to be so bad from their point of view. And it also ain't going to be great if you're a Renault fan. I'm afraid Renault in practice 3 were not quick. 13th and 19th. And considering what they did at Spa, you know what? I don't think they're going to have a good qualifying as well. I think they will get a car into Q2, but I think they might get a car knocked out in Q1. I don't see them getting anywhere near the top 10 in either qualifying or the race. So for Renault, also, it looks like it's going to be a very, very difficult qualifying coming up for them. No real surprise though, because of course they are so bad at this kind of circuit. But for Force India, still looking very good. They might not be best of the rest coming into qualifying after practice 3 where Magnussen was up in P6. But even if they're not, they can still have a good qualifying from there, say at 8th or 9th or a 9th and 10th. That would still be very good considering that, Force India back around the German Grand Prix or the Hungarian Grand Prix were nowhere near this kind of position. So for me, for Force India, looking still good even if they cannot line up on the 4th row of the grid. And I hope for Force India they can get both cars in the top 10 and get a points finish in the Grand Prix as well. But guys, what do you think is going to happen with those 3 teams? Do you think McLaren will line up on the back row of the grid? Do you think there's any chance they can get a car out of Q1? Do you think Renault have a chance of getting a car into Q3? Do you think Renault maybe can get both cars knocked out in Q1 maybe? We don't know. We'll have to see on that. And for Force India, do you think they are best of the rest coming into qualifying? And where do you think the 2 Force Indias will line up once qualifying ends? Do you think it'll be a 4th row start? Do you think they could surprise and get ahead of one of the Red Bulls and finish up in P6? Where do you think the Force Indias will end up? What do you think about those 3 teams? Let me look at the chat right now and just see what some of you guys are saying. You read my mind, Renault is going to struggle too. That's from Tonka Toy Truck. It's easy to see. This track just does not suit their car. It doesn't suit their car at all. And I don't think Renault in their entire history as the Enstone team, when they were Lotus, when they were the Renault Works team before, then Benetton, Tolman, I don't think they've ever really been good at this track, ever. It's just not a good track for that team. So, yeah, expect them to struggle. Really expect them to struggle in this qualifying. Inaz says McLaren will probably get at least one car from the back of the grid because they will give a toe to each other. That is probably going to happen, but will it work? I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I think they're so slow in a straight line compared to, say, the Williamses. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it will. I think the McLaren is probably the slowest in a straight line. And I know they have the same engine as Red Bull and Renault, but because their car is extra draggy compared to those, it's quite possibly the slowest in a straight line. So I don't see how McLaren can get off the back row, really. They're that bad right now. Tonka Toy Truck says, I'm betting on Haas. Legendary Snipers, McLaren have been one of the worst teams since 2014. They should have continued partnership with Mercedes. When it comes to that, I don't know why they split up with Mercedes, because when it comes to the whole Honda thing, they only really did that because of nostalgia, in my opinion. When it comes to why they did that, yeah, I think that's why they did it. If they'd stayed with Mercedes, then I can guarantee you they would not be at the back row of the grid for this race. They would be... I don't think they'd be up there with Red Bull, but I think they'd be up there with Force India and Haas for this weekend's race. And they would have probably scored a couple podiums this season. So, just, again, poor decision making from McLaren. Scott Young says, my predictions for Q1, Alonso in P16, Hartley in P17, Van Dorn P18, Sirotkin 19th and Stroll 20th. I would probably go Hartley 16th and then the two Williamses and then the two McLarens, if I'm being honest, going into qualifying right now. But of course, we will have to see. We'll have to see what happens there. Just looking in case anyone has any more stuff about Haas or Force India or McLaren. McLaren the worst team. Stella says McLaren, sadly, I predict 18th to 20th. Just looking at more. Toro Rosso will be the team to watch. I have no idea how they will finish. They could surprise us. Tonka Toy Truck, you said that I could read your mind. Well, just keep watching, because when I get to my ones to watch, or one to watch, it's a bit similar. Let me just put it that way. But we'll move on to the other midfield teams. Williams are not the worst team this weekend. I think they are the second worst. That's still not that good enough, but at least they're not the worst. I think they have a chance of getting a car out of Q1 and into Q2. Maybe up in 14th or 15th, you don't know. They're not going to score points in the race, but if they can get a car into Q2, or maybe even a car, you know, not on the back row of the grid, I think that'd be a decent achievement for Williams. So hopefully they actually perform in qualifying. Toro Rosso look good with Pierre Gasly in practice 3. With Brendan Hartley, you know, last of all, he's not really looking that good. But with Gasly, I think he has a chance of getting into Q3. I don't know how big, but he certainly does have a chance, because, you know, at Spa, if Gasly could be P11, then why couldn't he be that this weekend? There's definitely a good chance of that from Toro Rosso. And, you know, of course, Honda are making mad developments all the time with their power unit. Next up is Haas. I think Haas will definitely get both cars into the top 10. Where they will finish, I don't know. Probably, say, 8th and 10th. Something like that. But again, it doesn't matter where they qualify inside the top 10. As long as they qualify inside the top 10 and finish in the points and Renault don't, that's all that matters. That is all that matters at the end of the day for Haas. And I think a good qualifying at least is coming up for that team, and they really should be starting in a high position for the race in that midfield battle. And then finally is Sauber. Now, Charles Leclerc, he's not looking too bad in the Sauber. I still have reservations about Sauber because of that accident at or in practice 2. I'm not sure if the Sauber is totally safe, but hopefully it is for qualifying. Marcus Ericsson, by the way, you know, he will be taking his place in qualifying. He is absolutely fine. Did not suffer any injuries from that accident yesterday. Can Sauber get a car into Q3? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's going to be very close. I think they'll be in between 9th and 12th. Some, you know, that kind of area. I'm not sure if they're going to get into the top 10. It's very close. We'll see once we get to qualifying. But guys, do you think Williams could get a car into Q2? Do you think Toro Rosso could try and get Pierre Gasly into Q3? What a story that would be, especially for Honda. Do you think Haas are best of the rest instead of Force India? And where do you think they will end up in qualifying? And for Sauber, do you think with Charles Leclerc, they can get a car into the top 10? I'm not quite sure they can. But, of course, we could be surprised once we get into qualifying. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. If it rains, which is very unlikely, I'm saying that Stroll may get P8 or P9. That's from Stella. Of course, last year he was very quick in the wet conditions, so maybe. But I don't think it is going to rain because, as you said again, it's very unlikely because it is Italy. Is Nib with you, Chaz? Nope, he is not. I am actually planning something for the watch-alongs with him. He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know yet, but I am planning something with him between now and the end of 2018. So maybe Japan, US Grand Prix. He might be on these watch-alongs with me. I'm just giving you a heads up, guys. Legendary Snipers, if it rains, these are my Q3 predictions. Hamilton, Verstappen and Ocon. Interesting. If it rains, I can't really say. Again, it's Italy. You wouldn't expect rain, but we said that last year. And last year it rained and poured and it was awful last year in terms of the conditions. Just looking at best of the rest is really close. That's from Caleb. Yeah, it is close between Haas and Force India and I guess Sauber as well. So we'll see on that. Tonka Toy Truck says Haas 4th row, Force India 5th row, Renault 6th, Toro Rosso 7th, Sauber 8th, Williams 9th and McLaren 10th. I would probably swap Toro Rosso and Sauber with Renault. So put Toro Rosso up to 6th and Sauber up to 7th. I honestly think Renault are that slow. They just don't have any real pace for this weekend's race. Not a surprise, of course. Are Sauber doing good? That's from Gamer Ben. This season, yeah, I'd say they're doing good. They haven't done that great since the British Grand Prix. I think they could have done better, but overall for this season, I think they've been, just fine. I don't think there's been anything bad about this season. Renault don't really have a valid Gear 8. Don't really know what to say to that. Let me just look through some more comments from you guys before I move on to my next subject. Just looking through now. Fish Lips fastest speed traps Q3 gave a 1 to 5 Mercedes and a 6 to Honda. I think that's what you're trying to say. That's interesting. That is interesting. We'll have to keep a watch out for that in qualifying. Legendary Snipers. Hopefully we don't get V4 engines in 2020. I don't think we're going to. I don't think the engines are going to change at all. This whole 2021 stuff, I don't think there's going to be any difference with it. I don't think there's going to be any dramatic changes because there's no new manufacturers coming into F1. So what's the point in having 2021? That's my honest opinion on that. But we'll move on from the teams and go on, I believe now, in case I'm wrong, to the one to watch in qualifying today. And that one to watch, in my opinion, is Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso. Now, in practice 2, as you can see there, he was only 14th, but in practice 3 was in P12. That is very impressive, again, at a track which is so power hungry for a Honda powered car to be in P12 and not that far off the top 10. So you do have to watch out for Pierre Gasly. You know, in Spa, they qualified P11 and P12 with both Toro Rossos. Gasly got in the points. Hartley overtook a Ferrari powered Sauber twice on the Kemmel Straight. That is still incredible to me. And if they continue this progression and impressive performance, then you do have to watch out for him because he really could cause an upset. And I think Tonka Toy Truck said, my one to watch is Toro Rosso, and I fully agree. I absolutely fully agree. And I think Gasly is the one to watch because Hartley, I'm afraid, just isn't at the pace this weekend. So I would go with Pierre Gasly as the person that really could cause a surprise in qualifying today. And I think realistically he should qualify in 12th or 13th, but I think there's a possibility that he could end up getting 10th or even 9th. I do think that possibility is realistic. I really do think it is. But what do you guys think of what Toro Rosso and Pierre Gasly are going to do in qualifying? Do you think Gasly can get into the top 10? Do you think Toro Rosso are making enough progress to do so? And what do you think about Honda? Do you think Honda have made enough progress for, you know, the Toro Rosso car to get into the top 10 at Monza? And if they did, that would be a clear sign that Honda are better right now than Renault. If they did that, that would be a clear sign. No one could debate it any longer that Honda right now, maybe not next year, but right now, have a better power unit than the Renault. Let's see what some of you guys are going to say about this. I'm interested to hear some of your opinions. Gasly probably will snap a P10/P9. It'd be amazing if he did. Honestly, it would be amazing. I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting it, but I wouldn't be surprised either. Fishlets, Honda engineers work 24/7 on that engine, and lazy French do a 9 to 5 job. So that's probably why they develop fast. Maybe. That's an interesting summary. Tonka Toy Truck, I really like Gasly, but I think this track is too fast to qualify in the top 10. It probably is. It probably is. But, you know, at Spa, no one expected Gasly and Hartley to be 11th and 12th, even though Sauber did have their issues. No one expected Toro Rosso to be in that kind of position and not that far off the top 10 in qualifying either. So, yeah, you know, it might be too fast for them, but we thought that a week ago. I think Gasly will do well in the Red Bull. I think that's from Legendary Snipers. We'll have to see. Right now, I still don't think he's ready for that seat. But if he does keep, you know, doing well between now and the end of the season, then my opinion on him will change, no doubt. So if he keeps putting in good performances and consistent performances, then he'll be fine. He'll be fine and he'll definitely deserve that seat. But after what he's done so far in 2018, I'm not quite sure he does deserve it. Okay, knocked out in Q2. This is from Scott Young. It will be, in my opinion, Grosjean in P11, Sainz 12th, Leclerc 13th, Gasly 14th, and Ericsson in 15th. I think you're kind of overrating Renault. I think I don't think Renault have that much pace in the locker, I'm afraid. I really don't think they have that much pace there. Grosjean P11, I think he'll be in the top 10, honestly. I think he will. Leclerc, I don't think Leclerc will be that low down, neither do I think Gasly. I think Ericsson probably will be 15th because of his accident yesterday. Scott Young says, I just like Renault and their drivers. I do as well, but I don't see how they will get into the top 10 with one of their cars. I think that's what you're predicting with Hülkenberg making it into the top 10. Some people going in the chat with some very interesting predictions for pole position. Will Smith on pole, Roy Nissany on pole. I don't know what's going on in the chat right now. Scott Young, I still think Renault could get P4 in the Constructors. I don't think they will. They really should do, considering the size of their team compared to Haas, but I don't think they will. I think Haas have enough pace between now and the end of 2018 to beat them. I really do. George Russell for pole. He did get pole in the F2 yesterday. Hopefully he does do well in the feature race. By the way, talking about F2, if you want to watch the feature race, it will be taking place about half an hour to 45 minutes after qualifying finishes. So if you can find some kind of... I'm not advocating you illegally watch it, but if you can find some way of watching it, then, you know, 30 to 45 minutes after qualifying finishes, you should be able to watch the F2 race. And I really do recommend you do, because F2... especially at a track like this, is very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. Just trying to look for some more stuff about Pierre Gasly. Hülkenberg will get P10. That's from Scott Young again. I don't see how a Renault gets into the... How Renault gets into the top 10. I don't see it. I really don't see it. By the way, Chazza, do you remember me? Jog your memory with N-O-R-L. Yes, don't worry, I remember you. Don't worry. Legendary Snipers. I want to see Force India stop the challenge between Mercedes and Ferrari in 2019. I'm afraid there's no chance of that. If we get a 2009 style, you know, shake-up of the order, maybe, but I don't think the aero changes next year are going to shake up the order that much. I don't think it'll shake it up that much. I think it'll shake up the midfield. I don't think it'll shake up the top three really at all. I don't think it will. E7 Suspect. If Vettel DNFs and Hamilton wins, can he come back from this in the championship? If that were to happen, then Hamilton would have a 42-point lead with 7 races to go. It's possible. It's definitely possible, but I think Hamilton would have to be the clear favourite if Vettel did DNF and Hamilton did go on to win the Italian Grand Prix. You'd have to make Hamilton the favourite, there's no doubt about it, because 42 points is a very healthy gap. Even though Vettel can catch that between, you know, Singapore and Abu Dhabi, if that does go on to happen. Force India will be close to Red Bull next season. That's from Caleb. If the Honda is not doing well, then yeah, there's a possibility of that. But I don't think that will actually go on to happen. But we'll move on now to my predictions for today's qualifying for the 2018 Italian Grand Prix. On pole position, I'm going to go for Sebastian Vettel. I don't think anyone can seriously get close to him when it matters in Q3. The Ferrari car is the fastest. There's no doubt about that. You can see their Practice 2 performance. First in Practice 2. He's not miles clear of Kimi Raikkonen or the Mercedes cars, but he is enough clear of those cars to, in my opinion, get pole position in qualifying today. And I would be very, very surprised if he did not get pole position. I'd be very surprised. I don't see anyone different from him getting pole position today. And it's very important he does get pole, because he cannot allow Lewis Hamilton again to get pole position. That would be a very, very bad story for Ferrari at their home race. Of course, on Sunday they could go and reverse that, but they need to start on pole and they need to run away and dominate this race with both cars, in my opinion. What do you guys think about that then? Pole position. Do you think Sebastian Vettel will be on pole position? Do you think Lewis Hamilton will take pole? Or do you think it'll be Kimi Raikkonen or maybe Valtteri Bottas? Who do you think will be on pole position? I get a feeling that most of you are probably going to go with Vettel. Some of you maybe with Hamilton. But I think most of you will probably go Vettel. But I'm interested to see who you think will get pole. I think Bottas will. I don't think he will. I think he's too far off. But we've seen crazier things happen in the past. Kimi. That's from Caleb. Kimi could. He could. He wasn't that far off in practice too. He was, I think, half a tenth behind Sebastian Vettel. So it's possible. But I don't trust Kimi to not bottle it once we get to Q3. Logan Butcher, Vettel definitely be on pole unless someone crashes or makes a mistake. I fully agree. I fully agree. I don't think anyone different from him will be on pole position. Kimi pole, that's an E7 suspect. Kimi on pole, but team orders in the race. We'll have to see if Sebastian is behind him. If that is the case, that Sebastian is behind him, then yeah, I agree. I think Kimi will be ordered to move over. Tonka toy truck, Kimi could do it, does not matter. Vettel will still win. Ferrari are that strong. They are. They really are. Ultraman Nexus, I think the track will start to rain again and Mercedes get pole again. As I look at my TV screen, they're not showing the weather right now, but it's definitely not sunny. I'll say that much. Legendary Snipers, Ferrari will probably blow Kimi's strategy in the race. Yep, they tend to do that a lot, so that is a possibility. Has a tendency to find half a second from nothing. That's about Bottas. Yeah, but I still don't see it. I just don't think this is a good track for him. You got to remember, Bottas at Williams in his Williams days couldn't even out-qualify Felipe Massa in the same car. So if he's not going to out-qualify Massa, then I don't think he's going to out-qualify Lewis Hamilton or get close to the Ferraris, no disrespect. So I think he will be in P4. Vettel, but like Nico said, you can never write off Lewis, but Sunday will be red. Yeah, he's absolutely correct there, Nico Rosberg, who, by the way, is on the Sky Sports F1 coverage. I haven't got the sound on, so I can't hear anything he's saying, but wouldn't be surprised if he did say that. Stella says, Bottas does well at places like Austria, Canada, and Monza, straight line circuits. I don't think he does. I think he does well at like the newer tracks like Russia, Abu Dhabi, Baku. He does well at the newer tracks. The older tracks is where Lewis Hamilton tends to be better. Scott Young says, I think Lewis Hamilton will get pole. Interesting. Massa was bad after he had his 2009 crash. That's from Logan Butcher. I don't think he was that bad. I think people overrate the effect it had on him. It definitely had an effect, but not massively, because there were times at Ferrari where he would get podiums in a car that was not really deserving of a podium, so he wasn't absolutely terrible. Halam899 says or asks, do you think Prime Kimi could easily beat Vettel? Not easily, but I think he would beat Vettel in a head-to-head battle. Watch Ricciardo come from nowhere. We'll move on now to the person I think will be in P2. In my opinion, P2 in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix will be Kimi Raikkonen. Yes, I'm going for a Ferrari 1-2 at their home Grand Prix. I think Ferrari have enough pace to do so. I think they'll whack it up in terms of engine power in Q3 and will get that front row start. It won't be easy for Kimi to do that because Lewis Hamilton looks like he is very close and close enough to seriously get in there, you know, in between the two. As I look actually at the screen, there are quite dark clouds overhead, so maybe it could rain. It could rain. But moving back to Kimi Raikkonen, I think he will get onto the front row. I think he'll be very close to Sebastian. I wouldn't be surprised if he got ahead of Sebastian and got onto pole. But yeah, I think P2 is where he'll end up. And I think he does deserve to be on the front row of the grid. I think he's been very good as of late. And I think he deserves a front row start. But I want to hear what some of you guys think about who do you think will be in second place. And where do you think Kimi Raikkonen will be in qualifying? Do you think he'll qualify in second? Do you think he'll be on pole? Do you think he'll be third? Do you think he'll bottle it and be even lower than that? Do you think Ferrari will bottle it and he'll be sixth again? What do you think is going to happen with Kimi Raikkonen? Do you think he'll be second or on pole or even lower than second? Toto commented, this is from Tonka Toy Truck, Toto commented that he is thinking of retiring next year. If that happens, I think Lewis will go with him. I haven't actually heard that comment. I'll have to see the exact words that Toto said, if that is true. Scott Young, Sebastian Vettel P2 and Kimi Raikkonen P3. That would be quite a shock, I think, if Lewis Hamilton was to get pole and those two cars end up in P2 and P3. Kimi probably P5, that's from Stingray. Knowing him and Ferrari, they probably will bottle it that hard that they will end up in P5. Honestly, doesn't have the most credited past with Monza. He's never won here, I think. He's never won at this track. He's been on pole position before. I think 2006, which was the race when Michael Schumacher announced his retirement. I think that's the only race he's been on pole here. But I don't think he's ever won this race. So it's not a good track for Kimi. But the Ferrari car is looking really, really good. So I think at the very least, P3. The pits are more full than the WEC ones. That's not our crowd. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Tonka Toy Truck, I hope first or second for Kimi. Probably he will be fourth. Knowing him, yeah, knowing him it will. And he has been absolutely chronic with defending into the first corner. That's from Stingray again. Kimi, yeah. When it comes to the start for Kimi, I honestly think the reason Kimi gets bad starts is because of his age. Genuinely. I think it's because he's old. You got to remember, he's coming up to 40 years old. He's not a spring chicken anymore. Halam899, Spa is good for Kimi, but Ferrari still bottle it. If Kimi was so fast there, then he should be fast enough here, because those two tracks aren't massively different. They're still both high speed. Logan Butcher, he'll be 39 soon. Exactly. He's not a young person anymore. I honestly think his bad starts are down to how old he has become. Fernando Alonso, of course, he's, 36, and he still gets electric starts, but that's him. Kimi is a much more laid-back person. Legendary Snipers. Kimi will probably retire at the end of 2018. I don't think he will. I think he'll retire either at the end of 2019 or 2020. Probably 2019. I think he deserves to stay at Ferrari for the 2019 season. He's been very good this season. This has been his best season, I would say, since 2013 in the Lotus, where he actually won a race in that season. Stella asks, what do you think of the Red Bull Toro Rosso's driver market? Chaotic. Chaotic, to say the least. I don't know who's going to be in that Toro Rosso. It looks like it's going to be Brendan Hartley and someone else. I don't know who that someone else is going to be, but I guess we will see when that comes around. But in third place, guys, I think you can guess who I'm going for third place. I am going for Lewis Hamilton. I think Lewis Hamilton will be in third. He won't be miles off the two Ferraris. I think he'll be very close to Kimi Raikkonen and probably a quarter of a second off Sebastian Vettel, somewhere around there. But I think third place is where he'll end up. I don't think the Mercedes is fast enough in dry conditions to get that. But as I again look at the screen, it looks like it could rain. It really does look like it could rain. So maybe that might be what Mercedes were waiting for, is a bit of rain. Who knows? But if it's dry, which I think it still will, Lewis Hamilton, in my opinion, will end up in P3. But what do you guys think? Do you think he can get a surprise pole position in the wet? If it does rain, do you think he'll get pole? Do you think he will finish in P2, P3? Do you think Bottas will out-qualify him? Where do you think our current world champion and championship leader, Lewis Hamilton, will end up in qualifying? Let's see what some of you guys are going to say about Hamilton. I'm interested to see where some of you are going to put him. Will F1, do you think Toro Rosso may bring Kvyat back? I know they're trying to, but I tweeted this out on my Twitter, which, by the way, follow me on Twitter, link down below. I don't think they should... I don't think... Oh, not Toro Rosso. I don't think Kvyat should go back to Toro Rosso because, and I said this in my tweet, you know, they mugged you off by dropping you, what, 2 times? So mug them off back. Don't go back to the team or the company that has played with you like a rag doll for 3 years. Just, I don't think he should go back to Toro Rosso. I really don't think he should. A soccer legend, his prediction is Vettel, Hamilton and Raikkonen for the top 3. Yeah, it looks very likely. Looks very likely. Will that actually happen? I don't know. We'll have to see. E7 suspect, rain or enters P1 or P2/P3 dry. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say there. Stella says, I just heard that Buemi or Verne could be in a Toro Rosso seat. I think Verne is a lot more likely than Buemi. Put it that way. I don't think any of those two, though, will actually end up in the car. Halam899, if Kimi signs a 2-year contract, do you think he'll ever win a race? If Ferrari go on to dominate F1 for the next 3 or 4 years and Kimi is in the car for, say, 2 of those years, I think he will win a race. I think it'll get to a point where maybe Vettel and Ferrari will try and help Kimi win a race. Kind of like Schumacher did with Barrichello a couple times, where they were actively trying to get Barrichello to win a race and, you know, let him through to do that. I think he'll get to that kind of situation. Tonka Toy Truck, maybe a video on current super license points standing to date. Maybe. I do have a lot of videos planned coming in between this race and Singapore. There's a couple of them I think you guys are going to be very interested in. So stay tuned for that. But any more predictions, guys, as for qualifying? For top 3, for top 5, for top 10? What do you guys think is going to happen going into qualifying? Who do you think will be in the top 10? Who do you think will be knocked out in Q1, Q2? What are your wet weather predictions? I didn't do them when I, organised this these graphics last night because I didn't think it would rain. But if it rains, then I'd have to go Lewis Hamilton on pole position. I'd have to. Stella says, I am saying that there will be rain-affected qualifying. That'd be very interesting to see. I hope it's Q3 again, because last week with the Q3 and the rain at Spa was so exciting. So exciting. So hopefully that does happen again. Arvid, I don't know what you're trying to say there. Nina Kennedy, Ronnie Peterson's daughter, is understandably struggling not to cry in the interview on Swedish television. Oh, that's why. Yeah, that's why. Because it is 40 years, and I probably should have commemorated that. I'll probably try tomorrow. Of course, guys, it is 40 years since Ronnie Peterson sadly passed away. I'll try and do a bit on that tomorrow. So thank you for kind of reminding me of that. Very quick driver Ronnie Peterson was back in the day. And if he had stayed in F1, I think, and if, he'd stayed alive, I think Ronnie Peterson would have won a championship maybe in the early 1980s. He was such a quick driver, so quick. And yeah, it was very sad. That day, 40 years ago. Legendary snipers. How many minutes until qualifying? 10 minutes until qualifying. I am about to, well, get this qualifying watch along ready. Are you ready, guys, for qualifying? 10 minutes to go. If you're just joining the stream, what predictions do you have for qualifying today for the 2018 Italian Grand Prix? But before I read out some more, just need to let you guys know, don't forget to subscribe either on the bottom right of the screen, click on my channel name, or click on the link that goes to my channel page in the link down below in the description. Also, if you want to join our Discord server, the Chazza HDF1 Discord server, a link to that is in the description as well. We have about 60 people in the server at the moment, so if you want to join that wonderful community over there, then go and do that. Also, follow me on Twitter. A link to that is down below as well. If you want to keep up to date as to when I'm uploading and when videos get uploaded, and if there are any issues as to why I cannot upload, then you will find out on my Twitter. As well, a link to my website, chazahd.com, is down below. Don't forget to check that out. That's also a good thing to keep up to date with in terms of keeping up to date with my videos in general. And don't forget to like this video and comment down below if you're watching this after this went live. What did you think of qualifying? Of course, right now we don't know what's going to happen. But what did you think of qualifying, and what were your predictions going into qualifying before whatever went on to happen? Gamer Ben, I can't wait for Hamilton to win the championship. That's not for sure. That's not for sure that he's going to win it. I think he will, but I don't think it's going to be, you know, an easy ride home to Abu Dhabi for the world title. Okay, this is from Addiction. Okay, would be fun with wet, but it is what it is. Tonka Toy Truck, get some rest, and thanks again for all your hard work. Thank you for watching, and thanks for the 55 people watching right now live, and thanks for anyone watching this after. You guys motivate me to do what I do, and I've got a lot of stuff coming in the future which hopefully should improve these watch-alongs and the content in general. A lot of things I am planning for the channel. Who is the best driver now on the grid? Gamer Ben. I would probably say Fernando Alonso. I think overall is the best driver. But I think, you know, Hamilton, because of how quick he is in qualifying, that's why I would say the top teams is the best out of those 6 drivers. Soccer Legend, I want a dry qualifying to see the engine modes of Ferrari and Mercedes. It would be interesting to see in the dry just how much more power the Ferrari and Mercedes have compared to the Red Bull, you know, with the Renault power unit. So it would be interesting to see that. But if it is wet again, we're going to have a very, very, very interesting qualifying session, as all the drivers, Vettel, Hamilton included, are going into the garage and are getting ready for qualifying for the 2018 Italian Grand Prix. Hi to JB, who's just joined the chat. How are you doing? Just move on to another picture of this. By the way, guys, if you're new to these watch-alongs, sadly, I cannot find any timing screens that will work for this stream. So, for the time being, what I basically do is I get pictures off of Twitter and put it in my software and put it up on the screen for you guys to give you a visual update as to what's going on. If I do find a graphic on Twitter of, you know, the Q1 or Q2 or Q3 results, I will put it on the screen, but sadly this is just the way it is. But for next year, I'm going to try and maybe design my own timing screen so I can use that and you guys can be updated as to what's going on. But that is what we do here on the watch-alongs, as the F1 intro is now playing. 5 minutes to go until qualifying for the 2018 Italian Grand Prix. Bless Doob, I think the champ will go all the way to Abu Dhabi. I think it will. I think it will as well. I love this F1 intro. That's from JB. I do want to say, and you know, you can call me out all you like. I'm not as big of a fan of the intro as other people are. I like the intro. I don't love it, you know, to death. I still think the song on its own is boring, honestly. I think with the intro it's really good, but on its own, that song, it's generic superhero music. So I don't think... I still don't think it's, you know, the greatest intro I've ever seen in my entire life. As it still looks quite dark overhead of the Monza track for the Italian Grand Prix qualifying session. Ultraman Nexus, Abu Dhabi, 1st of December 2019. Yes, I talked about that yesterday in my Practice 1 and 2 review. Of course, the new calendar was announced, or provisional calendar was announced yesterday, and it looks like Abu Dhabi will be taking place on the 1st of December 2019. That is very late in the season. I think the last time a race took place in December was the 1965 or 66 South African Grand Prix. I think that's the last time we had a race in December. So, yeah, that's going to be quite a new experience, a race in December. They're just looking, or just showing some accidents over the past on the screen right now. Should there be points for qualifying? That's from John. They do have it in F2. You do get points for pole. I think it's like 2 points for pole. I don't think you should. I don't think you should. Yes, pole position is a great thing to have and, you know, very important, but you got to make Sunday... You got to make Sunday the, you know, what everyone comes for and where the points are scored. You can't make qualifying also, you know, a point scoring thing, because that kind of detracts from the Sunday. Because, you know, if you're going into a Sunday race and, you know, the championship could be decided and there's, you know, say Hamilton only needs 2 points to beat Vettel and Hamilton gets the 2 points by getting on pole, then a lot of people are going to be like, well, is there any point in watching the race? So, no, I don't think pole position... I don't think pole position is worthy enough of points. They've shown the accident again of Marcus Ericsson. If you're watching the screen now, just watch this accident. Very lucky he did not die. Very, very lucky. It will make it more exciting though. That's from JB. I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I actually think we'll get... I think we'll get less close title battles if we have that. I don't think the title battles in F1 will be as close if we have points for pole position. I don't think it will actually make it better. Will Montoya's 119.5 be beaten today? That's from Addiction. It was a 120.5 in practice 3 from Sebastian Vettel. So yes, it will be. I think the risk of rain, by the way, for the session is 80%. JB says he was referring to the rain. Okay, sorry for misconstruing your point. But yeah, I just saw on the screen, 80% chance of rain. That is going to change things for qualifying. But Montoya's record, yeah, I think it'll be broken. It won't be, you know, completely destroyed. Probably half a second at most, but it'll be broken. I think it will definitely be broken if it stays dry, though. If it stays dry. Happy birthday to Sainz. If it is Carlos Sainz's birthday, I didn't know it was. Happy birthday to Carlos Sainz. Hopefully next year at McLaren is very good, and hopefully you can have a decent end to 2018 as well in the Renault. It's Ericsson's birthday tomorrow. And it's also, I believe it's your birthday as well, JB, tomorrow. I think that's what you said on Thursday. So if it is, I'll be making sure to wish you happy birthday tomorrow as well. Scott Young, 80% chance of rain equals no rain until after quali is over. If you watched the Spanish Grand Prix, then you'll get what he means. You'll get what he means. At that race, we had a 90% chance of rain, and it was sunny for half the race. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But qualifying is about to start. And let me just cut to this picture of a Red Bull. I'm now going to try and find pictures off the internet for you guys to see. But again, if you're just joining, what are your predictions for qualifying wet or dry? Who do you think is going to be, you know, pole position, front row, top 10? What do you think is going to happen? Qualifying has officially started, but no one, I think, is out on the track right now. I think Brendan Hartley is out on the track, but they're not showing him right now. They're showing the Ferraris. Right, let me just find, or try and find a picture online. Again, if you're just joining, what do you think is going to happen? Who is coming out onto the track? Yep, this is Brendan Hart. Oh, this is Gasly. Leclerc is coming out onto the track. So the smaller teams coming out onto the track right now. Pierre Gasly coming down into turn 1. It does look like it is going to rain, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if it is. Yep, another Hamilton pole if it rains. Soccer legend, I agree. I think if it's raining, then Hamilton really should get pole. Remember last year, he was on pole by like 0.8 of a second. Something crazy like that. Very, very dominant last year in the wet. JB, if it's dry, Vettel pole. If it is wet, Hamilton pole. I have to agree. As Sebastian Vettel is now out on the track and is coming up to the second chicane. The Ferrari Tifosi flag, it does look very good. It does look very good indeed. Kimi Raikkonen also right behind Sebastian Vettel. So both Ferraris, I guess, are now going to go out there. They're both on super softs. So I think Ferrari, their strategy here is to go out there, put in a very quick lap, and then come back into the pits and just wait and see what happens, I guess. JB, Ocon, my turbo driver again, so it would be cool if it rains and he can repeat Spa. Last year, remember, he qualified in P. Oh, there's so many cars in the way. What is going on there? There's so many cars going into the Ascari chicane. Sorry about that. As soon as I saw that, I knew something was interestingly going to happen. Why were there so many cars in that part of the track? Like, I understand you want to slow down to give yourself some space, but not all at the same time. Sebastian Vettel is the first person, I believe, to start a lap time. There he goes on the pit straight. Let's see what kind of lap time he can do. JB, honestly, what are we doing? Racing or a road trip? So Vettel coming through turn 3, even though it's not really a turn, it's just a kink on a straight. Hartley has set the first lap time of the day, 1:23.6, but that's about to be smashed by Sebastian Vettel. As he comes up now to Lesmo 1, looks very good, very settled, very neat. Lesmo 2, again, settled and neat. And he now comes up to the Ascari chicane. Charles Leclerc has now gone fastest on a 1:23 flat. Vettel is probably going to do a mid-21, I'd say, or a high 21 for his first lap. The car looks very good through the Ascari chicane, very settled. And he's coming up to the Parabolica where he crashed in practice too, so hopefully he doesn't do that again. He doesn't. Gets slightly wide onto that green turf, which I wish wasn't there. I wish the Parabolica was how it was. And he does a 1:21.5 for his first lap. But Kimi Raikkonen goes 0.6 of a second faster on a 1:20.9. So Kimi Raikkonen miles faster than Sebastian Vettel. But of course for Ferrari that doesn't matter right now because they're going to get through to Q3, and that is where it all matters. 1:19.5. That is the track record for Monza, and Kimi Raikkonen with that lap is about 1.4 seconds off. So I think we will get there eventually in terms of that lap time. Lewis Hamilton on his lap, is he? No, he's on an out lap, so he's warming up for his attempt. I'll show you now a picture of when qualifying got underway and who came out onto the circuit. As Red Bull still in the pit lane with Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo. Red Bull tend to wait quite a long time to send their cars out. So not exactly a gigantic surprise there. But if it rains now, of course, then they're absolutely doomed. And they're both going to be starting at the back of the grid. Here you go. This is when Pierre Gasly came out onto the circuit for the start of qualifying when the light went green. And I'll show you another picture. This is the traffic jam that was at the Ascari chicane, or coming into the Ascari chicane under the tunnel. As Lewis Hamilton has begun his lap, he's coming up to the second chicane. What's his first sector like? A tenth off Kimi Raikkonen, so not that bad at all. Here you go. That's the traffic jam. That is quite a traffic jam in F1 by F1 standards. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. Come on, blue flags. JB, have you heard Ricciardo's Italian accent before? It's amazing. He does have a bit of Italian in him. As Hamilton does the fastest middle sector. He's about 300ths up on Kimi Raikkonen, but I'm not sure he's going to go fastest because the final sector is where the Ferrari is faster than the Mercedes. As Hamilton comes through now and does a 1 minute 21.3, so 4/10 off. He lost a lot of time in that final sector. Bottas comes up to the line and goes third. So both Hamilton and Bottas ahead of Sebastian Vettel. That's quite interesting, you know. Stingray, if I do not get the mod in the Discord server after our colourful past, I will be very disappointed. Hopefully you have joined though. I can't see my Discord server at the moment, so hopefully you have joined. Schumacher for pole from Jawad. Thanks as well to the 66 people watching live. Thank you so much for watching live this qualifying watch along. As Carlos Sainz is coming up to the line now and does a 1 minute 21.7. So a second off Sebastian Vettel, who has just gone fastest in qualifying. JB, I hope Ferrari can get pole, preferably Kimi, as he's in my fantasy team. Also, the Tifosi will go mental if Kimi gets pole. I think the Tifosi likes Kimi more than Sebastian. That's not, you know, I'm not disrespecting Sebastian when I say that, but I think they do like Kimi more because they do have a bit more history with Kimi. Legendary Snipers, even though Ricciardo may not be the fastest in F1, he is still the most fun person outside of F1. Yep, I agree. As is he on track right now? No, this is Max Verstappen. It's just come out onto the circuit for his outlap. Ricciardo, I'm not sure if he's out on track. I'll read out the order in a moment. I'm just waiting for everyone to complete a lap time before I read it out, because we don't have everyone having set a lap. We still have Verstappen, Magnussen, Grosjean and Daniel Ricciardo not setting a lap right now, but I'm sure that's going to change in a minute. Max Verstappen is out on track and he's coming down to the Ascari chicane, so he'll be starting a lap very soon. JB, Kimi is generally more popular, even though I prefer Seb. I think Kimi is one of the most popular drivers in F1. As Verstappen is coming up to the Parabolica to start his first qualifying lap. Let's see what Max... Oh, he is actually on a qualifying lap. It didn't show it. I thought he was... I didn't think he was on a lap. He does a 1 minute 21.3. So he is 5th place in qualifying. Lewis Hamilton has done the fastest middle sector. Can he go fastest of all? Let's see. He's coming up to the Parabolica. Sebastian Vettel has done a fastest first and second sector. So can Sebastian go even faster? Hamilton coming through now the Parabolica. And he will probably go up to second or maybe third, I'm not sure. Stays third, does a 1 minute 21 flat, and is about 3/10 off Sebastian Vettel. But here comes Vettel now. He's going to do a faster lap, I think. Yes, he does. He goes 2/10 faster. Not a fastest final sector, but he is now a quarter of a second ahead of his teammate and half a second ahead of his championship rival, Lewis Hamilton. Van Dorn has gone almost 2/10 faster in the first sector than Fernando Alonso. That's interesting. But Alonso is on a lap himself. Van Dorn coming through now. Lesmo 2. And he can open the DRS now. Alonso's behind him, so I think they might be doing a slight tow here with both cars. I'm not quite sure if they are, though. Van Dorn almost 4/10 up on Fernando Alonso in the middle sector. Alonso, I'm not sure if he's improving, but I'm not sure if he's improving enough right now. But there is still 6.5 minutes left in qualifying 1. So if he doesn't get it right now, he still has a chance to get it right at the end of Q1. Stoffel Van Dorn coming through now. And Van Dorn, where did Van Dorn go? Van Dorn went up to P11. He's been dropped down to P12 because Alonso's gone up to 9th. Very surprising there by McLaren. Ricciardo still has not set a lap time. I haven't got the sound on my TV. Oh, here he comes. Daniel Ricciardo coming out onto the track. So right now, with just under 6 minutes left in Q1, you have Sebastian Vettel leading from Kimi Raikkonen second and Hamilton third, Bottas fourth, Verstappen fifth, Ocon 6th, Sainz is 7th, Magnussen 8th, Alonso 9th, Perez 10th, Stroll 11th, Van Dorn 12th, Sirotkin 13th, Grosjean 14th, Leclerc 15th, Hulkenberg is 16th, Ericsson 17th, Gasly 18th, Hartley 19th, Toro Rosso looked very poor after that first run in Q1, and Daniel Ricciardo is on his outlap in 20th place. He'll probably go up to P6 or P7. So that is your order right now, as the Toro Rosso, I believe, of Pierre Gasly is coming out onto the circuit to do another lap. So Hulkenberg, Ericsson, Gasly, Hartley, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Grosjean, Sirotkin, Van Dorn and Stroll, I would say, are the ones under pressure right now. The sun is shining, it won't rain. That's from Soccer Legend. It could change, though. It could change very quickly. Let me try and post a new picture for you guys. As Hamilton, is he doing another lap? Yes, he is. And he's improving on his lap time so far. Where will Hamilton go with this lap time? Comes through the Parabolica and he's slowing down, I think. Is he? No, he's not. Comes across the line. He does improve a 1 minute 20.8, but he's still behind the two Ferraris. The Mercedes is just not fast enough to get ahead of those Ferraris. JB, if Williams get out of Q1, could they get points? It depends where they qualify in Q2. Really depends where they qualify in Q2. Ricciardo is now on a lap. He's coming up to the second chicane and the end of the first sector. He is quarter of a second off Vettel already after one sector. That just shows you how slow the Red Bull is in a straight line. Lesmo 1, the Red Bull looks very good. This is where the Red Bull thrives, in the Lesmos. And of course the Ascari chicane. He's now going to come up. DRS open, coming down to the Ascari chicane. How far will he be off Vettel? He is about 4/10 or 3.5 of a second behind Vettel. Comes through the Ascari chicane. The Red Bull loves that part of the circuit. Now he's coming to the Parabolica. Just reading something in the chat that I'll read it out in a moment. Daniel Ricciardo comes through the Parabolica. Looks very, very good. Puts the throttle on and heads to the line. Where will he come up in the standings? 4th place for Daniel Ricciardo. By the way, Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen, I just noticed, have set the exact same lap time. I don't know what the lap time is exactly, but they're both 0.839 of a second off Vettel. As Charles Leclerc goes up to 13th, Ericsson goes up to 14th. Lance Stroll right now is at risk. So the current drop zone is Stoffel Van Dorn, Sergei Sorokin, Nico Hülkenberg, Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley. Toro Rosso need to show some more pace right now. JB, if Vettel gets pole, Hamilton will say, "Oh, Ferrari are cheating and these fans are the worst. I'm not #blessed." That's yeah, that's pretty much the opposite of what he normally says. Scott Young, so either Red Bull are doing great or Mercedes are sandbagging. I think because Red Bull have done their laps later in the session, they are capitalising on, you know, more rubber on the track, so there's more grip out there on the track. As Hartley goes 18th, and where is Gasly? He only went 19th, Gasly, and there's a minute 45 left, so can they do another lap? Sorokin is up to 14th, Stroll is 16th, but is on an out lap, and so is Van Dorn in 17th. And is this Lance Stroll a lap? It is, I think. No, this is an out lap. He's going through a second Lesmo now. So Williams could get both cars into Q2. That'd be quite a turn up for the books, you know, if he was to do so. I'll just post a picture now on screen for you guys of Daniel Ricciardo, who is currently in P4 and only 7.5 tenths of Vettel. That's still quite a lot, but not as much as I thought it would be for a Red Bull at the Temple of Speed. I'll put it up on the screen. There you go. There is Daniel Ricciardo. Currently P4 in Q1. He is safely into Q2. Not a shadow of a doubt about it. If it rains, Stroll could get into Q3. That's from JB. He could if he replicates what he did last year. Kevin Magnussen, this is a replay of him going into the first chicane. I guess he's going to lock up. Yep. He locks up, I think, both wheels, and he has to go through the escape zone. The Saubers, are they on a lap? Yes, they are. Ericsson is at risk in 15th place. Ericsson going through the first Lesmo now. Lance Stroll, by the way, has improved on his first sector by a 10th. Ericsson is coming up to the Ascari chicane. Van Dorn has also improved by a 10th. This is going to be mighty, mighty close at the end of Q1. Who is going to go out of Q1? Marcus Ericsson is coming out to the Parabolica. Lance Stroll looks very fast, but can Ericsson do enough to get himself into Q2? Here he comes, Parabolica. Ericsson looks smooth, not necessarily fast. Van Dorn has messed up his middle sector. Ericsson doesn't improve and stays 15th. I think he's bottled it, and I think Lance Stroll is about to go into... He does. Lance Stroll goes up to P10. Both Williamses, I think, are into Q2. Van Dorn, I think, has bottled his chance. Sorokin. Van Dorn is out in 17th. Can Hülkenberg get ahead? Yes, Sorokin. It looks like he's out of qualifying. Gasly goes up to P11. Where does Brendan Hartley go? He is out of qualifying. Sergei Sorokin goes P11. Perez is 16th. Where is Sergio Perez? Is Perez on a lap? Or is he not on a lap? Where is Sergio Perez? Both Williamses are into Q2 in 11th and 13th. But where is Sergio Perez? That's it. Sergio Perez is out. Sergio Perez is out of qualifying. What a surprise that is. Force India should be up in 7th and 8th, and Perez is in 16th. Leclerc went wide at Lesmo 1, and someone saying in the chat that Leclerc is out in Q1. I believe so. Yes, he is, 17th. So, Perez, Leclerc, Hartley, Van Dorn, and someone else is out of Q1. I think it might be Alonso, I'm not quite sure. But Perez is for sure out of qualifying P16. He was 1,000th of a second off of getting out of Q1. That is how close the midfield battle is. I wish the top team battle was that close, but sadly it is not. But what a close call that was. Grosjean sneaking into Q2 by 1/1000th of a second. Very good Q1 there at the end. And Perez out qualifying. Wow, that is quite a surprise. Bad weekend for Force India. I wouldn't say necessarily it's a bad weekend. We need to see what Ocon does. If it rains, then Ocon finishes up in third. I don't think you'd be saying that, but we'll have to see what they do. I will say, you know what? Bravo to Williams, getting both cars into Q2. I've criticised them so much in 2018. I've ripped them apart, but I'll give credit where credit is due. Williams, well done. You've gone into Q2, but now let's see some impressive pace, hopefully, in Q2. James Eric, who would have thought that the Williams car just can get just one car into Q2 and then have both? Very, very impressive. I thought they would be doing this maybe at Spa, but, you know, that's just the way it was at Spa. Brandon Hartley was only half a tenth of getting into Q2, so unfortunate for him. But again, just he is not good when it comes to that final lap in qualifying. JB, could Williams get into Q3? I don't think they can, but they won't be miles off. They will not be miles off the pace. But that's a good job. That's a very good job. I'm going to show you now a picture of Claire Williams at the end of qualifying. She was very, very nervous. Or the end of Q1, sorry, not the end of qualifying overall. She was very, very nervous. But her two drivers got through to Q2. Well done. Very well done. So what do you guys think is going to happen in Q2? Who do you think is going to go out in Q2? I'm still waiting to see what the order was, because, you know, I know Leclerc, Hartley, Van Dorn and Perez went out, but who was the other person? Was it Ericsson? I don't know. I wasn't watching the charts. Yes, it was. So eliminated in Q1, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Brendan Hartley, Marcus Ericsson, and Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn is on his way out of McLaren. That's for absolute sure. He cannot get off the last row of the grid right now when it comes to qualifying and, you know, in the races as well. He can't get off last place. Here's a picture of Marcus Ericsson. Sauber, really disappointing. Really disappointing. I'm sorry, I have to say. They massively disappointed in qualifying. Just not good enough. Just not good enough. But Q2 is about to start. What are your predictions, guys, for the 65 people watching live? What are your predictions for Q2? Who do you think will be knocked out in Q2? Just a reminder, Perez, Leclerc, Hartley, Ericsson and Van Dorn went out in Q1. So who do you think, out of the midfield teams, let's be honest, is going to go out in Q2? Legendary Snipers 2014 Italy was good, but the race itself wasn't that good. The only thing I remember from that race was that there was a lot of easy overtakes from the Williamses. That's the only thing I remember. And Ricciardo's dive bombs. What a great race. Stingray, both Williamses through. Yep. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. They really should be getting both cars into Q2, because in a straight line, the Williams we know is very quick. But, you know, seem to have the pace and may have actually been sandbagging. Maybe. They looked faster than McLaren in practice 2 and practice 3, so I knew Williams coming into qualifying weren't going to be horrible like they normally are, but, you know, I didn't think they'd get both cars into Q2. That is something. Q2, and Daniel Ricciardo is out of his car and is walking to the weighbridge. So I'm assuming that Daniel Ricciardo is not going to take any further part in qualifying. I think that's it for Daniel Ricciardo. So Ricciardo's out. So who do you guys think will be the other four? You got Sirotkin, Stroll, Gasly, Alonso, Grosjean, Sainz, Ocon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to get a surprise here. I think we might get a Toro Rosso in the top 10 or maybe even a Williams. You don't know. That would be a surprise, wouldn't it? Williams will be at worst 12th and 13th without penalties. That's from Will F1. Raghav Gupta says Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Alonso, Stroll and Sainz out of Q2. So you think Sergei Sorokin will get into Q3? I'd actually like that to happen because I think Sorokin deserves a points finish. You know, Stroll had his points finish in Baku and deservedly, you know, was praised for it because he did drive well. But I think Sorokin was very unlucky in that race, and I think would have scored points in that race as well. So it'd be good. It'd be good to see Sergei Sorokin get a points finish. I think he definitely deserves one. He's been better than Stroll this season, in my opinion. Williams, the new speed. That's from John. Lewis Hamilton out on track. What tyre is he on? Is that Super Softs? I think it is. By the way, in case you didn't know, the tyre, if you get through to Q3, the tyre you did your fastest Q2 lap on is the tyre, if it is dry in the race, at the start of the race, it is the tyre you will start on for the start of the Grand Prix. So Sebastian Vettel is on Super Softs. I think Lewis Hamilton is too. Kimi Raikkonen should be as well. But it's going to be an easy one stop. So I don't think they need to, you know, save tyres or be conservative, as Kevin Magnussen has just started a lap in Q2 and he gets Q1. He gets the first chicane bang on correct. Sorokin is underrated and way better than Stroll. That's from Soccer Legend. I agree. I wouldn't say way better, but he's definitely better than Stroll. And he has actually impressed me quite a bit. I still don't think he's good enough to be an F1. But he has impressed me. Kevin Magnussen, you've absolutely bottled the second chicane. Almost went into the gravel on the exit of the second chicane. And he had to let through Romain Grosjean immediately after that mistake. Grosjean is coming up to the Ascari chicane. I'll try and find the classification of Q1 for you guys. I actually just found it, so I'll post that up for you now. Grosjean coming through the Ascari chicane, looking very good. The Haas always this season has looked good. Maybe not at Monaco and Baku, but Haas have been very good this season. Parabolica, Grosjean carrying a lot of speed in. And now he is going to come up to the line. What lap time is this going to be? A 1 minute 21.5. Not bad, but not amazing. Nothing absolutely amazing. Lewis Hamilton comes up to the line and does a 1 minute 19.7. That is a very good lap. That's only 2/10 off of the lap record at this track. Just trying to make sure, get fully on screen for you guys. There you go. That is what happened in Q1. Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Brendan Hartley, Marcus Ericsson and Stoffel Van Dorn all knocked out in Q1. Who will get knocked out in Q2 though? 119, the bar has been set. Indeed it has, but here comes Sebastian Vettel, fastest middle sector. Kimi Raikkonen, by the way, about half a second off Hamilton. So has Hamilton and Mercedes found some amazing speed that could challenge Vettel and Ferrari for pole position, as Vettel was a bit wide at the Parabolica. Where does Vettel go? He does a 1:19.7 and goes 13 thousandths of a second faster than Lewis Hamilton. Game on at the top here in qualifying. JB Yochaz, why wasn't I allowed to chat? Did I do something wrong? I believe you may have done something wrong. I don't know. I'll have to check with my moderator at the end of this stream. Just make sure you don't, you know, spam messages over and over, because, you know, that's not what the chat is all about. Ocon coming through Lesmo 1. Looking good. 10 minutes to go in Q2. And he comes through Lesmo 2. Well, Esteban Ocon go. I'll read out the order once we get all the lap times on the board for Q2. There's still, what, 5 drivers that need to set a lap. Ocon just under a second slower than Vettel in the middle sector. So Ocon with this lap is probably going to go into P6, I'd say. Here comes Ocon. Parabolica looks very, very good. And now he runs to the line. Where is Esteban Ocon going to go? He goes, yep, P6. And not that far off Max Verstappen. Only 0.3 of a second. Vettel was bad in the last corner. That's from Soccer Legend. He has been quite erratic in that final sector. He always in that final corner, sorry. He crashed there in practice 2. And a lot of times he's kind of ran wide. This is a replay of Valtteri Bottas. And spun into the entry of the pit lane. Trying to... he span over the... Yeah, that's what happened. There's a wet part on the entry to the pit lane under a bridge on the pit straight. And Bottas trying to go to the weighbridge, I think. Spun on the entry to the pit lane. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Carlos Sainz coming through to the Parabolica. Where will he go? Renault need a big performance here. Comes through the final corner. Carlos Sainz goes P7. That's a good lap. That's a good lap. Went ahead of Romain Grosjean. Very good lap time. P7 for Carlos Sainz, but we still need Hülkenberg, Stroll and Sorokin to set a lap time. 8 minutes left in Q2. Is Verstappen using the new engine? I believe he is. That's from Mike Post, by the way. Niblo, Gasly needs to use a... I think you're missing a word there, mate. Who's this on the lap? Is this Nico Hülkenberg? No, this is Sainz on his cool-down lap. All the power of the Hender engine. Only me and him will know what that means. That's why I'm not going to correct him on that. So Verstappen also gets a penalty. Nope, he doesn't. He doesn't. I think because Ricciardo has exceeded the amount of parts on a certain bit that he has to use. Don't think Verstappen has. That's what I believe has occurred there. The engine rules are so confusing still. Falling out EMS. Yeah, I wish F1 had more power. Right, I'll read it out now. So just under 7 minutes left in Q2. Sebastian Vettel is first by 13 thousandths of a second from Lewis Hamilton. Then Raikkonen third, Bottas fourth, Verstappen fifth, Ocon sixth, Carlos Sainz very impressively in P7, Grosjean 8th, Magnussen 9th, Gasly is 10th, but Hülkenberg, Stroll and Sorokin have not set a lap time. And then Alonso P11, Hülkenberg 12th, Ricciardo 13th. Ricciardo is not going to set a lap time because he has a penalty. There's no point. He's doing exactly what Nico Hülkenberg did in Q2 last week in Spa. Then Sorokin 14th and Stroll 15th. Stroll and Sorokin have not set a lap time. 6 minutes left in qualifying. Who do you think will be knocked out, guys? I think it looks like it's going to be the two Williamses. Alonso, I'd say, and probably one of the Renaults, but I don't know which one yet. I will say, though, the Haas's, I think, are slightly under pressure. Only slightly. Post a picture now of the two Haas's who need to definitely set a better lap time. They are quite far ahead of Gasly and Alonso in terms of lap time, but if Hülkenberg, gets in there, could make it a bit scary at the end for Haas. Right, so I'll post this picture of the two Haas cars. There you go. 8th and 9th, Grosjean and Magnussen. 5 minutes left in qualifying. Who do you guys think will be knocked out in Q2? Why did Hülkenberg set a lap in Q3 if he is starting from the back of the grid? I don't know what you're trying to say there. 2 snakes on the screen. Yep, I saw that. I saw that, don't worry. Ocon 6th. Ultraman Nexus, no more tyres for Kimi. Well, yeah, but he's done what he needs to do, and he's going through to Q3 by an absolute country mile. JB Gasly doing good. Yes, he is. By the way, I said one to watch, Pierre Gasly. So keep an eye out for Pierre Gasly, please. I said he's the one to watch, and so far I'm dead on correct. Stella, the calendar for 2019 is going to be the same as this season's. Yes, it is. The only changes are when some of the races are happening in terms of dates, and you know, for example, the Australian Grand Prix is taking place a week earlier than usual. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix a week later, meaning that Abu Dhabi will be the 1st of December 2019. Mexico will be happening before the US Grand Prix. Singapore and Russia is a back-to-back now at the end of September. There will be no triple header. Silverstone has been moved a week later to avoid a triple header. Yeah. It looks like the Renault, this from Mike Post, it looks like the Renault engine is still better than the Honda. Let's see after this race. I still think the Honda is looking very good. Of course, you know, the Toro Rossos, I think, look better than the Renault Works cars in Spa. So we'll see again after this race. Both Mercedes coming out onto the track, but this, I think, and both Ferraris, I think this is just a warm-up for them for Q3. This is just them getting prepared, getting used to the track conditions as it looks blue over Monza. A lot of cars coming out onto the track, including the 2 Williamses. Thank you as well to the 78 people watching live. Thank you so, so much. Great to have you all along for this watch along. The 2 Haas's also out on track. The only person not on track, I think, is Ricciardo and Hülkenberg. I don't think Hülkenberg is going to do a lap either, because I think he has a penalty as well. I'm not quite sure, though. Oh, he does. He has a 10th-place penalty from the accident at Spa, of course. So, oh no, he is out on track. I knew he took some kind of engine change, I think, so I thought he had an engine penalty as well. Falling Out EMS, great to be here. Also, great to have you here. Thank you all for being here. All 79 of you. The 2 Williamses are passing a Toro Rosso, Pierre Gasly, or I think that is Sirotkin passing the Toro Rosso, but Gasly wants passed again. Niblo, yep, Hülkenberg has engine penalties. Right. Well, he's out on a lap, so he's going to try and do something, even though it's not going to mean anything. Honda is there or thereabouts from Connor Hale. Yep, I'd say at least they are there or thereabouts. Raghav Gupta, Hulk has crash penalty and engine penalty. Right. James Evans, lowest Williams can start is 12th and 13th. Indeed. Here is Sergei Sirotkin, though, on a lap. Let me just clear my throat before I start screaming my head off. Sergei Sirotkin coming through the first chicane and into the second chicane as a Haas and a McLaren to the first chicane, battling for position. I hope no accident happened. That looked very, very close. Sergei Sirotkin is 4/10 off in the first sector. I'm not sure if that means a lot. Sirotkin comes through Lesmo 1. The sun has now come out. Great to see the sun at the lovely Monza track. Sirotkin is now coming down the straight towards the Ascari chicane. Vettel has done a fastest first sector, but has not improved on his second sector. I don't think he's actually going to go for a competitive lap. Sirotkin 1.1 off Vettel. That looks very good. Sergei Sirotkin looks very, very good right now. Hamilton, I don't think he's going to go for a competitive lap. Bottas comes through. He's in P4. Hamilton's P2. Yep, they're not going for competitive lap times. Here comes Sergei Sirotkin. Vettel does go faster. Sirotkin goes P10. But Gasly goes P9. So Sirotkin is out of qualifying. Stroll goes 7th. What a lap by Lance Stroll. A 121.4. Grosjean goes P6. If Magnussen improves, then Gasly is out of qualifying. Ocon. Is this Ocon? Yeah, P7. Verstappen goes up to 4th. Where is Kevin Magnussen? Here comes Nico Hülkenberg. Hasn't improved, I don't think. Where's Magnussen? Is Magnussen still on a lap? Or... Oh, this is what happened then. It was Kevin Magnussen and Fernando Alonso. And Alonso blocking Magnussen. Alonso's going to get a penalty for that. Alonso has to get a penalty for that. He overtook Magnussen around the outside into the first chicane and then pushed him wide like they were battling for position. What's going on there then? So Gasly is through because Fernando Alonso... So Magnussen, basically Alonso's got a great run on Magnussen going into the first chicane and gone round the outside into the first chicane, bounced across the second part, forced Magnussen onto the grass and then gone through. What is Alonso doing? I know he's getting a bit old, but has he gone crazy? What was he doing there? But Lance Stroll into the top 10, 8th place, and yes, I've criticised him a lot, but well done for Lance Stroll, 8th place, very well deserved, and yeah, great job. Definitely the best performance of qualifying goes to Lance Stroll. 3-place grid penalty for Alonso. It might be even more than that. That was ridiculous what he was doing there. He was going around the outside into the first chicane in qualifying. I'm sorry, that's really, really funny, actually. I don't know why he was doing that. But Pierre Gasly, by the way, I think got into the top 10. So Pierre Gasly, I said, could get into the top 10, and he has. Let's just see for confirmation. Yes, he has. Pierre Gasly in the top 10. And I have said that Honda are making progress. That is clear evidence that they are. Clear evidence that they are. Great to see. And my want to watch has come to fruition. Thank God for that. I was very worried at the start of Q1 that Pierre Gasly would end up qualifying last or something ridiculous. But thank God he has actually done well there. Hopefully my predictions for the top 3 will come through very well. Stroll is good around here and Baku. Yes, he is. Stroll is good around Monza. That's from Soccer Legend and JB respectively. And I'm assuming Gasly was very, very happy with getting through to the top 10. Scott Young, I thought K-Mag would be best of the rest. Cheers, Fernando. I'm waiting for a certain Simon Cragland to comment on a video or get on this live stream because I know right now he will be spitting feathers after what Fernando did because he is a fellow Dane of his and frequent on my videos in terms of commenting and, you know, interacting on the live chat. So if he joins this chat, expect him to be very, very angry with what Fernando has done there. Mike Post, will Alonso start next to Ricciardo? I don't think his penalty will be that harsh. I think it'll be probably a 5-place penalty at most. But it was ridiculous what he did. Is this Williams' first Q3 appearance? Yes, it is. That's from Soccer Legend, by the way. It is. That's their first Q3 appearance of the season. Their first Q3 appearance, I think, since Abu Dhabi in 2017. So, yeah, very, very good. Well done again. Also, even though he didn't get through, well done as well to Sergei Sirotkin qualifying in P12. I know Hülkenberg and Ricciardo did not set a lap, but to be up in P12, a very well done for Sergei Sirotkin. I'll post a picture of Sirotkin, but it's not really about Sirotkin at the moment. It's about Stroll, but Williams as a team have done very well today. There you go. That is Sergei Sirotkin. He got knocked out, but his teammate Lance Stroll is through to Q3. Eliminated in Q2 is Kevin Magnussen, Sergei Sorokin, Fernando Alonso, and Nico Hülkenberg and Daniel Ricciardo. Also knocked out, but they did not set a lap time. Sorry guys, I was just burping there. I'll just post up the classification for Q2 right now, so you guys know what just happened, and you can see who actually made it into the top 10 and who finished where in Q2. Here you go, right here. So it was Vettel fastest, Hamilton, then Raikkonen, Verstappen, Bottas, Grosjean, Ocon, Stroll, Sainz and Gasly are in the top 10. Great job by Sainz as well. Very good job. Even though Magnussen probably would have got into the top 10, still very good by Gasly and Carlos Sainz. So guys, going into Q3, who are we going for pole position? Who are we going for second, third, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and of course 10th place? Who are we going for those positions? What are our predictions going into Q3? I am going Vettel on pole, Raikkonen second, and Lewis Hamilton in 3rd place. But I think Hamilton might be able to cause a surprise. Stella says Vettel, Vettel, Vettel. Addiction, Kimi, Kimi, Kimi. A lot of people want Kimi to get pole. I would love if Kimi got pole. It would be such a good story and a great Saturday. Mike Post, gap between Hamilton and Bottas is pretty big, but as I've said, Monza is not a good track for Valtteri. This is actually one of the worst tracks on the calendar for him. Falling out EMS, he is going for Vettel on pole, Hamilton second, Verstappen the third, and Raikkonen fourth. You're going very ambitious there. Brandon goes Hamilton, 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 Connor Hale, Raikkonen. Niblo goes Vettel on pole, Hamilton second, Kimi in third, Bottas fourth, and Max in fifth. For the 84 people watching live right now, again, thank you for watching live on this watch along. Who do you think is going to be on pole position? Put it in the chat right now, and I will read it out during qualifying as Q3 is about to get underway. Stella, sorry Kimi. Ultraman Nexus, sadly though, Kimi ran out of tyres. I think Raikkonen is going to bottle it again. That's from falling out EMS. Halam899 live. Ocon on pole, Vettel second, Kimi third. That'd be amazing. Q2 positions, same as Q1 will be from John. So Vettel on pole, Hamilton second, Kimi third, Bottas fourth, Max fifth. Yep. Oh no, Verstappen went fourth, didn't he? So, I don't know. Verstappen will beat Bottas. I don't think he will. I think Bottas has enough engine power to beat Max Verstappen as the sun is coming out. This is where it is now getting very important for Ferrari. They have to get pole position. If they get a front row start, that is a very important moment in this championship, because that is a great way to begin the Italian Grand Prix tomorrow, to try and fend off the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Falling out EMS, Ocon pole. I would love that shake-up. Vettel pole, that's from Mike Post. Q3 has started. 11 minutes of Q3 to go. Will Grosjean or Ocon be best of the rest? That's from JB. I'm not really sure how to call it. I think Ocon will, but it could easily be Grosjean. It could easily be Grosjean. Ultraman Nexus says Ferrari on pole. Here we go. 10.5 minutes to go. Mercedes and Ferrari are preparing their cars. Legendary Snipers, Vettel pole for sure. Niblo says no rain. There was an 80% chance at the start of the session, but it's now sunny, so there is no rain that is going to hit this track. Danny Fiend says, think we will see a new lap record. Yes, we will. We will get a new lap record, that's for sure. I think it'll be a 19.2, something like that. James Evans goes for Vettel on pole, Raikkonen second, Hamilton third, Bottas fourth, Verstappen fifth, and Ocon in sixth. Yeah, that's what I would go with. Fish Lips, Bottas, 6/10 behind his teammate. Has he had a dip again? He did this last season though, didn't he? Around this time of the season, he had a dip and then he brought it back at the end of the season. It's just the way he is, and he has had a very unlucky 2018. Connor says, Grosjean for best of the rest pole. So, you know, basically the second tier. He will be on the pole. Ocon on the front row again. That's from Brandon. JB, I think Hamilton can beat Raikkonen. I think he can too, but I think Ferrari have enough pace to get on the front row as Pierre Gasly starts his lap in Q3. Hashtag Stroll for pole from Swag Nation 345. James Evans, come on Vettel. Gasly coming into the first chicane. Where can Gasly end up? If he was to end up in P8 or P9, that'd be very impressive. Very, very impressive. Gasly pole now. Here they come. The two Mercedes and the two Ferraris. Again, for the 92 people watching live, again, thank you for watching live. Put in the live chat right now. Who do you think is going to get pole position? Who do you think will be in the top 5? Put it in the chat right now, and I will make sure to read it out in the next 2 or 3 minutes before we get the proper laps in. Stella, Sebastian, Vettel. Sorry if I said too many Sebastians there. Brandon, Hamilton, James, Eric, Vettel. James Evans, I love your streams. Thank you very much for loving them. Ocon has gone fastest on a 1:21.4, but he's the only person to set a lap time. Mercedes has been second best since Silverstone. Yes, I agree. Vettel coming through Lesmo 1. And now into Lesmo 2. Ocon, yes, is on pole, but not for very long. Gasly has gone P3. Grosjean is now fastest. He's about half a tenth ahead of Esteban Ocon. I'm just waiting for a picture of a Ferrari or a Mercedes, guys, until I post an actual picture of what is going on the track. So Vettel is the first one who's going to do a lap. Then it'll be Raikkonen, then Hamilton, then Bottas. But the two Mercedes need to spread out a bit because Bottas is quite close to Hamilton. Brandon, I was so sad whenever Leclerc dropped out in Q1. Yeah, it was a bit sad. It's Lesbian 2. Chaz, did you not watch the YouTuber Championship? That always goes through my mind when I say Lesmo. Don't worry about that. Vettel now, first chicane. Bit ragged over the first part, but that's good enough. And now he comes up to the second chicane and the end of the first sector. Raikkonen getting slipstream from Seb. Maybe, yeah. Vettel half a second faster than Grosjean. Of course, that's expected. Vettel looking good enough through the first sector. Raikkonen, Hamilton, very fast in the first sector. That's 2/10 faster than Vettel, I think. Hamilton looks like he has a very quick car underneath him for Q3. Here comes Vettel into the Ascari chicane. And his car looks good, but is it good enough? I don't know. What's Hamilton going to do at the Ascari chicane? Hamilton does not set a fastest second sector. That goes to Sebastian Vettel. Here we go. Sebastian Vettel, the first run of Q3. Where does he go? He does a 1 minute 19.4 new lap record. Kimi Raikkonen goes fastest by 0.03 of a second. Hamilton's going faster though. We have a new lap record. Where does Lewis Hamilton go? He goes to pole position. Hamilton on pole. Kimi Raikkonen second, Sebastian Vettel third, Bottas fourth, Verstappen fifth, Sainz is sixth, Grosjean seventh, Ocon eighth, Gasly ninth, and Stroll's not set a lap, but I'm sure he will once we get to the final run in Q3. But Lewis Hamilton so far is on pole position by 0.07 of a second. Game on. Game on. Lots of people, I think, are not happy that Lewis Hamilton is on pole so far. But again, remember guys, 5 minutes left in Q3. There is still time for Ferrari to nick this back. But we do have a new lap record, a 1:19.390 from Lewis Hamilton. He has beaten Juan Pablo Montoya's lap record from 2004. Wow, what a first run that was. And now it settles down. It settles down. And now we get ready for what will be in about 3 minutes' time, the start of our final runs in Q3. Oh, that was very, very, very exciting. James Evans, please Seb, don't bottle it. He's got to produce a great lap at the end of Q3. He's currently in third place. That is not good enough. If he ends up in third, then he has bottled it. And maybe Kimi has as well. Niblo made a mistake into Lesmo 1 for Sebastian. I'm not sure if he did or not. I didn't really see like a dramatic moment. Maybe he did lose a 10th. But Mercedes are pulling their cars back into the garage. Currently first and fourth. Bottle it, Seb. Bottle it. What a lap by Hamilton from Legendary Snipers. Go Hamilton. Still think Seb has it in the bag from Niblo. JB Sainz is doing good. He is. He's in P6. He's currently best of the rest. And 2 tenths ahead of Grosjean. Very, very surprising. I don't know where Renault have got their pace from. And if they're so quick here, why weren't they quick at Spa? Right, I'll post a picture of the Ferraris coming out of the pit lane. If you're just joining us, Lewis Hamilton is on provisional pole position, but we have 1 run of Q3 left. Then it's Kimi Raikkonen second, Vettel third, Bottas fourth, Verstappen fifth, Sainz is sixth, Grosjean seventh, Ocon eighth, Gasly 9th and Lance Stroll is 10th, but has not set a lap time right now, but will set a lap time at the end of the session. Right, here you go. Here's the Ferraris coming out onto the track. They are not on pole. They are not on pole so far. But can they get the lap done when they need to at the end of Q3? If you're going to win a championship, this is where you have to produce those, you know, stellar performances. This is where titles are won. Yes, there is a race tomorrow, but if Hamilton, you know, does get pole and can get a good start tomorrow, then that could be the difference at the end of the season. This is a very, very, very important pole position. So Hamilton coming out onto the track. Here they all come out onto the track. The Ferraris, the Mercedes, all of them coming out onto the track. Stingray going to be close. I'd say that it'll be a Ferrari 1-3. Maybe. We'll have to see. Do Ferrari have enough in hand to pull out at the final opportunity? Or will they bottle it again like they did in Hungary and like they did in Spa? I have a feeling that Hamilton might stay on pole, but I really hope that we get just a great battle at the end, and maybe we could get a 1 minute 18 at Monza. What a moment that would be. Stella, I don't want to say a big word, but I think Hamilton is going to make a huge mistake in his lap. Well, we'll see. Bottas is coming through the Ascari chicane. So is Hamilton. Now Vettel. Now Raikkonen. Here we go, guys. Who do you think is going to be on pole? I'm going to say right now, I think Vettel still might sneak it. I hope Vettel gets pole, but I think Hamilton will get pole. That's from JB. We'll see. Vettel. Here he goes now. Vettel goes through the final corner. And here we go. The final run in Q3. Hamilton is just ahead. So Vettel's not that far behind Hamilton. That might be a mistake. Being quite close to Hamilton. Hopefully he does not get distracted. Coming into the first chicane for Sebastian Vettel. Raikkonen not that far behind Vettel as well. Vettel coming through now. He's gone through the first chicane. Comes now through to the second chicane. What does Hamilton do in the first sector? Hamilton has not done a personal best first sector. What does Vettel do? He goes faster in the first sector, but not faster than Lewis Hamilton. Raikkonen does a personal best first sector, but not faster than Lewis Hamilton. Here he comes now, Vettel through Lesmo 1. Looks good that time. And through Lesmo 2. It's going to get very exciting now. Down to the Ascari chicane. Hamilton has improved in the middle sector. Vettel has improved as well. I think Hamilton might have enough, though, to get pole. It's all down to the straight to the Parabolica and then the final run to the line. Lewis Hamilton goes through the Parabolica. Now goes Vettel. Who's going to be on pole? Hamilton. Bottas is fourth. Lewis Hamilton improves and stays on pole position. Sebastian Vettel gets pole position. Kimi Raikkonen gets pole position. Kimi Raikkonen is on pole position by a 1/10.5 from Sebastian Vettel. Sorry for the voice crack. Kimi Raikkonen on pole with a new lap record of 1:19.1. Raikkonen on pole. Vettel second. Hamilton third. Bottas fourth. Verstappen fifth. Grosjean sixth. Sainz is 7th, Ocon 8th, Gasly 9th and Stroll 10th. Kimi's on pole for the first time since Monaco in 2017. What a lap by Kimi, a 1/10.5 faster than Sebastian Vettel. Vettel was only 14 thousandths ahead of Hamilton. Very close at the end. Wow, Kimi on pole. Kimi on pole. Could he get his first win since 2013 tomorrow? John says, and the world has stopped spinning. Connor, gloves and steering wheel. Boy. Well done, Kimi, from Mike Post. Wow, what an end. I did not see, that's why my voice did crack a bit, is because I did not see Kimi Raikkonen coming up with pole position. I did not see that. I did predict a Ferrari 1-2. I did not see a Kimi Raikkonen pole position, though. At least, though, for Ferrari, that they produced at the end of the session when they needed to. Both Raikkonen and Vettel, so happy. By the way, I will be staying around for another half an hour to react with to qualifying with you guys. So stick around for the 83 people watching. Stick around for the reaction to what we have just seen in qualifying. Vettel, this is a replay of him going through the second chicane. Yeah, he does get a bit wide on the gravel, but I don't think that's what cost him. I don't think that's what cost him. James Evans said, Seb said, we'll speak later on the radio. Interesting. Vettel seems salty and not happy. That's from JB and James Evans, respectively. Danny Feen, wow, very entertaining qualifying. Can't wait for the race. I can't wait for the race. If Raikkonen can get a victory, wow. That would be something. What a qualifying. That's from Addiction. Indeed, what a qualifying. What an end. Kimi Raikkonen, the fastest lap in F1 history. A 1:19.1. An average speed of 263 kilometers an hour. That is 163 miles per hour. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's the fastest lap in the history of Formula 1. Connor, Ferrari better not play the team orders game. We'll see tomorrow where Vettel is and where Kimi is. Legendary snipers. Kimi won't win though unless Vettel crashes out. Niblo, oh my, his wife is over the moon. She's a legend. JB, fastest lap in F1 history. That's very cool. Get it because he's the Iceman. Kimi looks very happy. Don't know where he's walking to. He's waving at someone. Waving at, I don't know, his family or something. John, Vettel is not upset he will get past tomorrow. It's a team sport. We'll have to see, though, if Vettel is behind Kimi after the start. If Vettel's down in 4th and Kimi's leading, then they're not going to be able to, you know, move Kimi out of the way, are they? Ultraman Nexus, will Kimi win tomorrow? We've got to see. We've got to see. Wow. Kimi is going to be screwed up tomorrow, sadly. I don't think the Ferrari fans at the track will mind if Vettel wins ahead of Raikkonen. All they want is a Ferrari 1-2. That's all they want. Right, I'll try and post a picture for you guys for what has actually just happened in qualifying. If you're just joining us, Kimi Raikkonen is on pole position from Sebastian Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton is in 3rd place. I'll post a picture now of Vettel on his final run. I will get a graphic on the screen soon enough with your top 3 in case you think I'm lying somehow if you're not watching qualifying. Here you go. That's Sebastian Vettel. That was on his final run. That's him going through the Ascari chicane. What a qualifying again. Qualifying is so exciting. So here you go. I'm going to post it now. This is the full order of qualifying. This will be the last image I post before I cut the stream off in about 25 minutes. So here you go. This is the final image. That's the order of qualifying. Kimi Raikkonen on pole from Sebastian Vettel 2nd, Lewis Hamilton 3rd, Valtteri Bottas 4th, Verstappen 5th, Grosjean 6th, Sainz is P7, Ocon is 8th, Gasly 9th, Lance Stroll in 10th, very impressive, Magnussen P11, Sergei Sorokin 12th, Alonso 13th, Hulkenberg 14th, Ricciardo 15th, Perez 16th, Leclerc 17th, Hartley 18th, Ericsson 19th, and Stoffel Van Dorn is last of all. What did you guys think of qualifying then? To everyone currently watching, what did you think of qualifying? And what do you think going into tomorrow's race? Alonso was being a dick. He had no chance of qualifying. Ruined it for K-Mag. That's from Tonka Toy Truck. Yes, he was. I have to be honest, he was. John, Kimi will only get the win if either Vettel or Hamilton goes out. Just looking at more comments. JB, I feel sorry for Lewis as he's getting booed. That's not a surprise. He should be expecting that. This is Italy and he is the enemy for this weekend. There's no surprise about it. That was an amazing Q3. Awesome Q3. That's from Brandon and Tonka Toy Truck respectively. Brilliant. Maybe even best quality of the year from Niblo. Definitely up there. I'd say top 5 at least. Qualifyings of the year. Rico Isaac says Kimi did a good lap, more than good, an absolutely stellar lap from Kimi Raikkonen. Very, very good lap. Bye to you, JB. Hopefully you can join me for the race watch along tomorrow and also the race reaction tomorrow for the 2018 Italian Grand Prix. I cannot wait for tomorrow's race. Every time we have an exciting qualifying, it just pumps me up for the race. I cannot wait. Ultraman Nexus, Kimi for president. Yep. If Kimi wins tomorrow, it would be an amazing scene. That's from Brandon. Lap of the year from John. One of the laps of the year, definitely. That's his best lap. Possibly, well, since his last pole, you could say. But I think that's one of the best laps he's done in maybe the last 10 years of his career. What a lap. Hamilton needs to be booed for what he said. I didn't hear what he said, so I can't really comment. Sam Sanity, I'm seriously happy. Niblo, okay, see you tomorrow, Chazza. See you tomorrow as well, Nib. Hopefully you can join me again for the race watch along. WWYD78, grazie ragazzi. That's a long time subscriber of mine, so it's very good to see him, and thank you for coming along as well. Niblo, don't get too pumped up. Remember Canada. Yep, the qualifying there was very exciting, and yeah, we know what happened. Gamer Ben, well done, Kimi. Tonka Toy Truck, Gasly did it again. I said watch out for Gasly, so did you, Tonka Toy Truck, and yeah, we were right. We were right. Brandon just subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing. By the way, a qualifying review, a recorded qualifying review will be out in about 6 to 7 hours after I cut off here. So thank you for subscribing, and don't forget to come around tomorrow for the race watch along and also the race reaction live. Stingray, hey, Arvid, please let Kimi win. I would love it if Kimi won. I'd absolutely love it to death if Kimi Raikkonen won the race. Stingray, I said that Gasly was a good choice. He's proved it. He's proved it so far this weekend. Kimi's pole was long time due. That's some Ashutosh. He's had, what? He had chances in Bahrain, China, Baku, Hockenheim, you could say as well. As, who's that presenting Kimi with the trophy? Is that Mick Schumacher? I think it is. Yeah, I think that's Mick Schumacher presenting Kimi with the pole position trophy. That's interesting. Red Bull was horrible. Gasly did great. That's from Fish Lips. Interesting if that was Mick Schumacher because, of course, the last time Kimi Raikkonen got pole at Monza, on the front row was his dad, Michael, and Michael won the race. So, interesting kind of stat to throw at you guys. I remember someone had a top speed record at Mexico with 370 kilometers an hour at Mexico in 2016. That's some legendary snipers. Yep, that was Perez. That's because he had slipstream and DRS on a Williams. That's why he got that. Halam899 live. Kimi first pole trophy. Bertson, Tomeu, good job. Roman, my turbo driver, did a good job, definitely. Multi-75. Oh my. Are you really doing this, guys? That's from Ultraman Nexus, by the way. For anyone joining live, what do you think of what's just happened in qualifying? And what do you think going into tomorrow's race? Do you think Kimi can win? Do you think team orders will happen? Just what do you think? Put it in the chat right now and I will read it out for the next 20 minutes before I come off this stream. Thank you for the 107 people watching live. Thank you so much for coming around and watching. It is such a pleasure to stream and do this watch along with you people. Halam899 live. As a Kimi fanboy, I'm hyped up. I'm not surprised. Caleb hyped. Go #Kimi7 from Ultraman Nexus. Just watching replays of when Kimi got pole. The entire Ferrari garage was in almost tears from what they saw. Mike Post, is the move of Alonso under investigation? I'm not 100% sure, but it should be, because what Alonso did was awful. Going around the outside into the first chicane and then pushing Magnussen wide onto the grass. Now, in the race, that'd be a great overtake, but this is not the race, this is qualifying. I don't understand, again, what Fernando Alonso was doing. Brandon, I think, sadly, there will be team orders. If Vettel is behind Kimi, then yes, I think there will, and I don't think there'd be anything wrong with that, even though I'd love to see... Kimi get pole. Ashutosh Dave, we all love Kimi. We do. Game of Ben, Seb will pass Kimi on start. John says, 1-2 Ferrari tomorrow and you will hear the crowd all around the world. We will. John Ortenzio, Kimi should give way to Vettel because for the championship. If Vettel is behind him, I would do exactly the same. I'd love to see Kimi win, but at the end of the day, you need to try and help Vettel's title bid as much as possible. And, yeah, it has to be done if that situation arises. Legendary Snipers, Grosjean's crash at Baku was Ericsson's fault, lol. Frex Gaming, I hope Kimi gets his long-awaited win. I hope so too. It's been 5.5 years since Kimi Raikkonen won a race. It was March 2013. In Melbourne, the first race of 2013 at the Australian Grand Prix. Aaron Chin, I think Ferrari will do team orders. Again, if Vettel is behind Kimi, I think so too, and I wouldn't argue against it. I'd actually be in support of it. Bert Centimeo, so will you be streaming live tomorrow? I will. This is the plan, is an hour before the race starts, I will be going live with build-up with you guys. Then doing the race watch along with you guys as the race is going on. And then at 4:30 PM British time, or 45 minutes, I guess, after the race finishes, I'll be doing a full hour race reaction. So don't worry, I will be live tomorrow for, all in all, about 3.5 to 4 hours. So hopefully you guys can join me for that. Thank you for the 133 people watching live. This is the most people I've had watching live. So again, thank you guys so much. I cannot thank you any more than what I'm doing. Aaron Kin, but isn't team orders illegal? No, it's not. That was it was illegal at one point, but it's not illegal anymore. I think it's basically the circumstances and how you do it might be deemed illegal, but I don't think it's necessarily illegal anymore. Ferrari should have a super party mode. That's some legendary snipers. Good Grosjean. Tonka Toy truck. K-Mag is my turbo driver. Maybe he can make some extra points if he moves up. I think he will be able to. He has the car to do so. The Haas is still very quick, despite Fernando Alonso, I guess, dive bombing around the outside into the first chicane. That's still very funny to me. Very funny. Tonka Toy truck, keep up the good work. It is appreciated. I appreciate the 153 now people watching live. Again, thank you so much. And I appreciate every view, subscriber, like, all of that. And of course, comment. Thank all of you guys for coming along. You are really motivating me to get up and do this stuff. This is just great to do with you guys. I'm having so much fun doing it. It's just so fun to me. Ultraman Nexus, who should get the penalty? Alonso or Magnussen? I think it's clear. It's got to be Alonso. If they give Magnussen a penalty, I'd like to know what the stewards are smoking. Because Magnussen's on a lap. Alonso comes flying out of nowhere from the, the outside of the track. Goes round the outside, which, you know what, in the race, again, would be a great overtake. But this is qualifying. Hops over the second chicane and pushes Magnussen onto the grass. So it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It has to be Alonso. That is probably one of the stupidest, worst mistakes Fernando's ever made in his career. I still don't get what he was doing. That's from John. Later, guys. Have to mow the grass. Good job. Hopefully, you'll come around tomorrow to watch the race with us, guys. Brandon thinks Alonso should get the penalty. I agree. He should. If he does not get a penalty for that, again, I do not know what the stewards are smoking or drinking. I don't understand. Aaron Kin, Alonso, he thinks should get a penalty. I agree again. Let me see if I can read out any more questions. Nikolic, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry again if I've absolutely butchered your name. Kimi to win the race. I think he can. I think he has the pace to do so. But if Vettel is right behind, then I think Kimi will be told to move out of the way. Ultraman Nexus, stupidest mistakes made by Alonso. It was. Stella Ericsson is going to get the penalty. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did cause that accident. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Joseph Hernandez, hi, hello to you. Sorry that you couldn't come along earlier to watch qualifying with us, but at least you've come along before the stream has ended. There's about 12 minutes left of this stream. Again, thank you guys for watching and coming along. Apparently I got your name right. Good, that's all good. I'm very scared of getting some of your guys' names wrong because I feel it's kind of an insult if I absolutely destroy your names. Ultraman Nexus, who is Mazepin? He is the Russian test driver of Force India. Joseph Hernandez, I think Kimi will win the race. Hello to Tamzid Zuhar. Santosh, Kimi's still showing his speed. He has been this season. He has been. Hi again to you, to Joseph Hernandez. Legendary Snipers, F1 V8, good old days. Nikolic. Well, I hope Kimi does win. He is such an icon. You saw the reaction when he got pole. It was such an outpouring of emotion. And that's not just from people at the track. That is all across the world who are F1 fans. We all love Kimi. Yeah, we all love Kimi. Lol, you pronounced my last name wrong. Sorry, again, I'm not great with pronouncing names. Brandon, when was Kimi's last win? It was the 2013 Australian Grand Prix. So 5.5 years ago. That is so long ago. Hello to Arrow Boy HD. In the non-hybrid era. Yep. Just looking. Gamer Ben, who do you think will win the race? I will say who I think is going to win the race in my build-up in the race watch-along tomorrow. I don't really know yet who I'd go with right now, so I'm going to have to think about it. Ebertson says, shout out from the Philippines. Thank you for watching from the Philippines. We will see you tomorrow, mate. And I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Lol, I subbed. I'll just say your first name instead of your second name, because I might have to get used to saying that. From Tamzid. Stella, any chance of equal engines vote? That's never going to happen, because Ferrari, Mercedes, Renault exist and they only care about themselves. Sorry if I'm being too honest, but that is the way it's going. Legendary Snipers, Chazza, did you like Malaysia? I'm pissed it was took off the calendar. So am I. I would have that track back. Always provided good racing, and with the weather always being very topsy-turvy, you never knew what was going to happen. You never knew what was going to happen, and it should be on the calendar still, but they can't have it on the calendar because the people at the track, and I don't think the government can afford to have it anymore at the Sepang International Circuit, which is unfortunate, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Malaysian Grand Prix makes a return. Tamzid, why no Miami next year? Because I don't think it passed the vote in the Florida Congress. I might be wrong on that, but I don't think it passed the vote. Or F1 thought, let's give it another year. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to say your second name because I'll absolutely destroy it. Interesting to see if team orders shuffle Seb and Kimi. I'd love to see Kimi win, but he is safely in third overall, while Seb needs all the, I guess you're trying to say points he can possibly get. Yep, I agree. If Kimi is ahead of Seb and Seb needs to get past and is just behind, then, as I've said multiple times, Vettel needs to go ahead. Ultraman Nexus, sadly, Malaysian Prime Minister said F1 is too expensive, so they discontinued it. It's a sad state of affairs, but yeah, that's, there's nothing they can do. That I'm pretty sure in Malaysia there's more important things to pay for than an F1 Grand Prix. Tamzid, Red Bull, Mercedes or Ferrari? I guess you're asking who I support more? Is that what you're trying to ask? Try and clarify if you can in a second comment. What is your predictions for for changes at the start? That's from Gamer Ben. I think Ferrari will get a good start. I think they normally do. And after that, I think Red Bull can maybe get a good start, and maybe Verstappen can get ahead of Bottas, but, we'll have to see. Legendary Snipers, the 2019 wings will make the DRS way more powerful. Aaron Chin, I feel like Vettel might dominate second half of the season like 2013, but hope it goes down to the wire. I was thinking this a couple of days ago, that with the car that Ferrari have, Vettel might go and win every race between now and the end of the season. And of course, if he does do that, then he will win the title. But, I think Mercedes will get two or three more victories with Lewis Hamilton. I think there's definitely 2 or 3 more wins in the bag. As I stated, Kimi is safely in third for drivers, and Seb needs every point he can get in order to pull it back from Lewis. Yep, I fully agree. Malaysia Grand Prix will come back when Malaysia financial funds, or financial issues, I guess you're trying to say, is gone. Brandon Chazza, what's your favourite F1 team? Who do you support? I don't support a team. I don't support any team. I do have my favourite drivers and teams, but I don't directly support anyone. My favourite team would be Ferrari, and then after that, probably Force India. Drivers, my top 2 are Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Also, Fernando Alonso's in there. Romain Grosjean. Drivers like that, I really do like. But again, I don't directly support anyone, because as long as we get great racing, I don't care who wins the race. I'm not going to be disappointed in, if Lewis Hamilton wins. I don't care. As long as he does it and we get a great race in him doing so, I don't care. Are you surprised that Kimi gets pole position? That's from Milos. Yes, I am. I am very surprised. I was so surprised that when it happened, my voice cracked. Yeah, I am surprised. Thoughts on Ocon from With? Again, sorry if I'm destroying your name. Ocon, very, very good driver. Very underrated this season. And in qualifying today, let me just look. Where did he qualify? P8. Not bad. I think he could have done better. I think he could have got ahead of Sainz, but there is a race tomorrow, so we'll see what he can do from P8. Hamilton, when do you think he will retire? That's from Tamzid. Probably 2020, around 2020, 2021. We'll see. No sweat, dude. Okay. Roberts, he grabbed his Ray-Bans. I don't know what you're trying to say. Just looking through the chat now to read out more of your guys' questions and comments. Again, thank you for the 204 people watching live. Absolutely incredible. Aaron Chin, I hope Bottas wins the race this year. Horrible luck, but his pace appears to be quite weak in second half like last year. He's having a very similar season to last season. He's now starting to drop off. I think in Russia he will recover and might be back up, maybe winning a race, but we'll have to see what he does there. Arrow Boy, is the Imola circuit going to be used again? I don't think it will be. I think if the Italian Grand Prix moves from Monza, then it will go to Imola, but I don't think it will leave Monza. Do you think Max will ever win a World Drivers' Championship? That's from Tamzid. Yes, I do. Once he gets in the right car at the right time, then you better prepare yourselves for domination. And that's not, I'm not saying that because he's my favourite driver or anything like that, but he's that good. He's that type of driver where if he gets in the car or gets in a car which is dominant, forget about it. He's going to win more than, 2 titles. He's going to win 3 or 4. If he can get in the right car at the right time, that is very, very important for him. Bottas is slackening pace as this year goes on. Yep, pretty much. I think because his title bid has basically disappeared because of reliability issues and bad luck, he has lost a bit of confidence. Will F1, can Bottas be said to be underperforming or not? I think that this race in Spa he has underperformed, but we need to wait, I think, until Russia. Because Russia, normally, he is very good. And if he's not good there, then I think we can say again he's underperforming. And I think I know why, if he is still underperforming. I think I know why he is. And I think it's something Mercedes themselves will have to solve. Brandon, how many Drivers' World Championships will Leclerc win? He'll definitely win a World Championship. I don't know how many, though. Maybe 2 or 3. We'll have to see. He needs to get in that Ferrari, though, by 2020 if he wants to start winning them early. Are you surprised? This is from Milos. Are you surprised of Perez and Leclerc getting knocked out from Q1? Very. I thought Leclerc could get into Q3, and I thought Perez was absolutely 1,000,000% guaranteed to get into Q3, but he just did not set a good enough lap time and wasn't out on track when he needed to be. Tamzid, do you agree with the new front wings and engine rules? I don't agree with the engines changing for 2021. I would keep them the same way. The aero is what needs to change, and they are making a change to that for 2019. Aerodynamics, can you tell us exactly why Valtteri is underperforming? Thanks. In my opinion, it's because, and they did this last year, they make him work for the contract extension, then he gets it, then he drops off in performance, almost like he's like, right, I've got what I need, now I'm safe for next year, now I can just, stroll along, pick up 3rd and 4th places. That is what Bottas, I think, did last season, and I think that's what he's possibly doing this season as well. So I think Mercedes, to solve that, need to wait until, for next year, they should wait until the last race, or after the last race, to give him a contract, to try and make him push even harder and get that contract and earn it even more. Will F1, Perez missed Q2 by 1,000th of a second and Leclerc by 2,000ths. Just shows you how close the midfield battle is. Nicola, what are your thoughts of Ricciardo to Renault? I think it will work out eventually, but I think it's going to take a bit of time. Closest Q1 from P20 to P6, the gap is only 0.2 of a second. That's from Inaz. Yeah, again, very, 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 very close in the midfield. I am going to have to go, guys, in a minute. There's so many comments popping up. I can't resist not reading them. But again, thank you all for coming along. I didn't get what Toto said by the perfect wingman. Can you explain? Basically, he's saying that Valtteri in Hungary was a very good number 2 driver. That's exactly what he was saying. That's from Tamzid, by the way. I think Brazil should be the last race of the season. What do you think? I fully agree. Again, that's from Tamzid. Finally, Kimi gets pole from that's from Jay Calloway. And I think, guys, I'm going to end the stream there. Also, hello to you, Jay. You just said hello to me, so hello back. Thank you, guys, for coming along and watching. We still have 194 people watching live. Thank you, guys, so much. It has been a pleasure. But before you guys leave, please do not forget to subscribe either on the bottom right of the screen, click on my channel name, or click on the link in the description down below that goes to my channel page so you can subscribe. Also, like this video, comment down below if you're watching this after and you did not come around to watch this live as well. Do not forget to come around tomorrow for the race watch along and the race reaction live on Chazza HDF1 during the Italian Grand Prix, and also after. We'll have all of that covered for you guys. Tamzid, by the when you stream in the race, I'll be going live an hour before the race starts. So 1:10 UK time, so an hour before the race starts, I will be going live. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you know when I go live. And don't forget as well to join our Discord server. A link to that is down below. Join that and you'll also get a notification as to when I go live or upload videos. I will be uploading a qualifying review later on between 8 PM and 10 PM UK time. So don't forget to subscribe and hit your notifications bell for that. Follow me on Twitter, link down below in the description to keep up to date with when I am uploading. And if there's any issues as to when I'm not uploading, you can find out on my Twitter, where no doubt I'll be ranting and raving as usual. Thank you, Aeron Dynamics, for subscribing. Thank you, Tamzid, as well, for subscribing. Thank you so much. And thanks for hitting the notifications bell as well. What else was I? As well, check out my website down below, chazzahd.com. Another way of keeping up to date with what I am doing on social media. Again, follow me, subscribe, like, comment, all of that. And I will see all of you, hopefully, later on for the qualifying review. And don't forget, guys, to come back here 1:10 tomorrow for the race watch along for the 2018 Italian Grand Prix. Can Kimi Raikkonen get his first win in 5.5 years? We'll find out tomorrow.